This podcast is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a landing page, a beautiful gallery, a professional blog, or an online store, it's all included with your Squarespace website. Start your free trial today at squarespace.com and enter the offer code KINDAFUNNY to get 10% off your first purchase. Squarespace. Set your website apart. Jack. I added the Jack. That's not really their thing. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the GameOverGreggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino. Now, this Heather Gray shirt, charcoal gray. Wait, what do you describe this one?
It's a charcoal shirt.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. This is the Mickey Mouse. You got a really faint Mickey Mouse on here.
By default, charcoal is heathered, I think.
I would
as
think
a
so.
color.
I think that's how they get the charcoaling.
Yeah.
It's combining darker gray with white and mixing it up a little bit. Yeah, I looked for an alternate Mickey Mouse shirt when we were at the Land of Disney.
Sure.
Did not find one. Lo and behold, there was too much Star Wars / Marvel merch.
Sure.
One of us was too busy trying to put together our own custom lightsaber. I'm not going to point fingers.
What up, Kevin?
Greg and Kevin.
What's up?
Which is a story for another day. But yeah, one day I'm going to buy another Mickey shirt, I guess, as long and short of how pointless that story was.
Over there, the pure one, Tim Gettys.
And in classic Nick fashion, he was looking for a Mickey Mouse shirt in the Star Wars store. So lo and behold, there was Star Wars merch there. But, you know,
we looked at that front store on Main Street.
We did go in there. I'm not sure how much you looked at it, but
what about your hat now? You have a dolphin hat.
This hat is a dolphin hat. You might remember dolphins were featured in Super Mario World.
Yes.
Dolphins were also in Free Willy. They weren't like the stars.
Sure.
Like I thought
there was also Echo the Dolphin.
Echo the Dolphin, overrated as all shit. I don't think people really enjoyed it, but whatever rating it got.
Sure.
It was
whatever the rating may or may not be.
too high.
GameCube codename Dolphin.
Yeah, that's also cool.
That's where
I
Fran
needed
began.
hats for when I don't want to do my hair, because here's the thing about my hair. It takes time and it costs money.
How much time does it take?
It takes probably an extra 5-10 minutes.
And how much money does it take?
The money is the problem, because I use a shit ton of product. So I'm like, I don't need to look good for necessarily.
The show? For your friends?
That's the thing. No, for the show, I want to. So this is my Monday hat, because I'm not on camera Mondays. Yes, it's a Tuesday. Yeah, you're making solid points. Did I have a rough morning? Mm-hmm.
Why was the morning so rough?
I don't know.
What'd you do?
I don't know.
Woke up.
What do you mean you don't know?
You know, I had calls. I had to talk to Stuttering Chris. Screw Attack.
These punk ass
Stammering Dan?
bitches.
Stammering Dan.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're
Dude,
talking
he's
about
getting his shit
SGC and stuff. They have ideas. Not going to say they're good ideas.
No, of course not. They're
but
terrible
they're
ideas,
there.
I'm sure.
Was one of their ideas to keep their own convention, and then they couldn't do that?
I don't think so. They didn't think about that.
Douche, Stammering
But,
Dan. How do you feel about that?
Scoodly douche.
We have an internet feud with
Anyways,
them
let's
that's
move on.
popping off at rtx.funny.com/rtx. And then rounding out the group, the Pride of Long Island, Colin Moriarty. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yeah?
How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you, sir.
It's good to see you too. I'm in good spirits.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the GameOverGreggy show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can toss us a few bucks and get every episode early, along with exclusives and a bunch of cool perks and goodies. When are we gonna make a? We gotta make it.
Scoops.
We
Rub that right there.
up here in the
Just in
trapezoids.
that area, in that general area, yeah.
Right here in the traps.
That feels good.
Yeah.
I gotta get a massage. It's all that plane travel.
It is all that plane travel.
It's too much.
You should have got a massage on last week.
No, he couldn't. He couldn't though. He's not one of us. He wasn't a featured creator.
We
like
got
us.
him in.
What's that
We-
featured creator from VidCon?
We got him
don't
in.
do
First
that.
off, I actually looked to find out where the massage person was. Couldn't find it. Granted, just looked for 5 seconds as we were passing the little guide. Still looked. Didn't. I don't know. I think they were lying to you. I don't think that
No,
person
we were
was there.
on the floor. It was one of those
I
weird
know.
rooms.
I kept looking in. No masseuse.
If you have no bucks to toss, head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we break the show up topic by topic, day by day, until it posts one big video in MP3 the following Friday on youtube.com/kindafunny and podcast services around the globe. Nicholas,
Yes.
you get to begin today, and there's
Oh.
so much to talk about.
It's enjoyable. We were at VidCon. We decided to take a little bit of a break. Went over to some place called Downtown Disney, which happens to have one of those AMC theaters.
Theater.
The theaters. And despite me wanting to see Mrs. Peregru's Home for Strange Children, or whatever that movie is, it's not out yet, we decided to go see Independence Day 2.
Yeah.
I want to hear...
How?
Oh, in 3D.
Yeah.
Really?
That was a key.
Oh,
It was
no.
the only
I couldn't have gotten any worse than
It was
in
the only
3D.
option. Honestly, on this one, this is one of those films where I actually enjoyed the 3D.
Because the acting was so bad.
It was so bad.
So you just needed something?
No,
to
it
give
was.
depth?
I mean, I was looking for. That's a good one. That was a very good one. I was looking forward to it. I actually wanted to see what they would do in this because this is a spectacle film, right? Like I wasn't expecting it to be good. Luckily, because unfortunately, it was not that good.
Now, you can say that, but when we came up with this plan, we were all excited.
Yeah.
We killed a panel, destroyed a panel.
Crushed it.
Probably one of our best panels of all time.
Can you please tell Colin about that panel? I feel like he would enjoy it. I feel like the people would like to hear the story because they'll never see it because it wasn't recorded.
Sure. I had an awesome panel where it was just me. It turned out the day before
I'm
we
sure you
discovered it
love
was
that.
just going to be me. And then, but I got there, standing room only room, and then Tim tweeted a photo, and somebody tweeted back, it's just a more organized meet and greet.
Yeah. So that was great. But my favorite thing was that it was kind of an honor that it was just you. It's not that other
Right.
people didn't show up. Like
Right.
you
No.
were chosen to give your own panel. Nick wasn't aware
Thank you,
of
Hank
this. So Nick walks into the panel 10 minutes late with his Starbucks, walks in and just goes and sits next to Greg after Greg had just been like killing it with this like impassioned speech.
That's fucking awesome.
The only way Nick knows how, and it was awesome.
I was always planning to bring Tim up. I didn't think Nick would get out of bed for it. So then you just came up afterwards and we did it that way.
Yeah, it was great.
It was a kind of funny
killed it,
panel.
but
It's
nah,
exactly
it was,
what we needed.
it was definitely.
So then, of
us.
course, we went and celebrated at Portillo's, as you do, and then decided to go see Independence Day. And everybody in the van was super excited. We all were. Nobody was saying it's going to be bad. No one expected this to be the horrible torpedo it was to our fun.
Now, I had, again, to preface, we all had a lot of fun watching this movie. It's a fun movie, but you okay over there? Do you need to do anything else? No, zero difference. It's okay.
Thank God you made a big scene and interrupted.
Thank God. Just, God damn.
boom, boom, boom. I'm Kevin.
Kevin, you're
Oh, I interrupted him saying Independence
You're
Day.
getting too big for
we
your-
were
you're getting too
excited.
big- you're getting too big for your britches.
Look, we were excited for Independence Day.
Kevin Smash.
That's what you're gonna do
I
now?
thought it was a fun movie. I enjoyed the experience. I'm not sad that we went and saw it. It was up until the point where I'm sitting there watching this, and you were sitting next to me, and you turned to me, and
Like
you were
15
like,
minutes in, 20 minutes in.
"No, it was a good 30 minutes in. Like I could feel you seething,
Yeah.
and you were doing the laugh where you were like, you cock your head a little bit and you smile, and you're about to just shred something and rip it apart. You were doing that for about 10 minutes in, but you waited till about 30 minutes in, right until the point where
We're going to spoil Independence Day resurgent, by the way.
entirely.
oh yeah, this is gonna be a huge.
Full
spoiler.
spoilers.
I think it was it was right around the time when
They introduced the 87th character.
well, they introduced a lot of characters, but I think it was when they introduced Data that you were like, this is a bad movie, isn't it? You said that out loud to me, and I'm like, fuck, he's right.
Yeah.
This is not one of those enjoyable, could have been better movies. This is a straight old fashioned bad movie.
And it's one of
That
those
is
you
fun.
say you don't regret it or any of these things. I do. I wish I'd never seen it. I just wish I lived.
Oh my God.
I just wish
It's so funny.
I liked
What did you
Indep-
expect?
It's so
I liked
bad.
Independence Day 1. I expected it to be worse
Yeah.
than Independence Day 1, but not bad.
Oh my God.
I thought
horrible.
it was going to be better than it. I thought it had a potential. I think I told maybe Kevin this, that I think the potential of the movie was that I thought it was going to be no worse than bad and no better than good. So like somewhere, not in like the fantastic or great echelon, but certainly not in the abysmal.
Sure.
Like Independence Day Resurgence is one of the very worst movies I have ever seen.
Oh my God. I
Like
disagree
and it's
so much.
and it is so it makes no sense.
No, it doesn't.
It like there's literally no reason that 90% of the characters are in it.
Absolutely.
They like, and the thing that pains me the most, Tim, because I really do think the original Independence Day is an authentically great movie. Like I really do. I think
It's an authentically good movie.
Yeah,
I think it's
authentically okay to good.
I'm
It's
gonna
on
give
the
you-
same
I'm gonna give
page
you-
as Bad Boys and Armageddon for like.
I'll never forget.
Armageddon's
good.
great too, I think.
Leaving Independence Day, me and Matt Noel, we were young, impressionable, whatever, junior high students, right? Somewhere in there. Before.
Independence Day came out in 96.
So yeah, okay. So getting ready for high school, but not there yet, but getting close to it. And I remember leaving Stratford Square Cinema and looking up at the stars and being like, that was awesome. That movie was awesome.
Yeah,
and
well,
talking about all this
and-
crazy shit.
And I really don't think, I mean, this is the thing, is I really don't think it's because we're kids. So we were kids when it came out, because I've seen that movie many times since. And Aaron and I sat down, I rented it on Amazon, like, let's watch it the night before, right? We ended up going to Alamo Theater with Jared Petty and his wife.
Oh, lovely.
Angie.
And Aaron's cousin Kate. And that was my big takeaway, by the way, is I've never been to Alamo Draft House. I'm never going to see a movie anywhere else in my life.
That place is
But
amazing. Amazing.
the unfortunate thing, it's in the mission. All right. So so I saw the movie, and when I went in, I was like, I really feel like this is not going to be great, but it's not going to squander what I think is Independence Day's cleverness. And I think that that's one of the things that's really overlooked. And this was one of the things I was explaining when we watched the movie the night before, was that the tie-in between the Roswell crash and Independence Day is super clever. And that whole arc is something that like is not explored like entirely in the movie. Like they do go to Area 51 and they do find the crash craft and the exosuits of the aliens and all that kind of stuff. And that's cool. But the idea that they sent a scout ship indicates that in the 40s, and don't get there till the 90s, indicates that there's massive amounts of time wasted in between them. They also abduct the one dude, the pilot or whatever, 10 years before and stuff like that. So they're here and they're fucking around, right?
Right.
And I'm like, cool, there's a mythos with these aliens, and we're going to learn more about them. Like, that's what I thought this movie was going to be. I was like, what is their motivation? They insinuate in the original Independence Day their motivation is that
They're locusts.
yeah, but they make a point of saying that they are biologically identical to us. They breathe oxygen, they drink water, they have similar thresholds to ice and cold, or whatever.
Carbon.
What it seems like, they're carbon-based. So what it seems like to me in the original one, what they insinuate completely, and I don't know how anyone could dispute this, is that they're here to take the planet over. Right?
Right.
In Independence Day Resurgence, they're there to extract the magma from the Earth's core. That's what they're there to do. Why would they do that? What do they
fuels
possibly?
their ship,
It
we're
doesn't make
told.
any sense.
They have an ecosystem on their ship. I'm not arguing in favor.
They can't find rocks and like iron and stuff somewhere else in space and superheat it. They can make these ships that are 3,000 miles in diameter.
They got beef with us now, Colin.
It's just ridiculous. But that
They
doesn't.
told you they'd be back. They're back.
I kept saying that, and it's not in the movie. So
It was not that we're back, but he's like, we always knew they'd come back.
yeah.
Another back.
But so I don't mean to go on a diatribe here, but what I really think that Independence Day Resurgence really squandered was not so much, it was nonsense. Like the movie had no plot, it made no sense. The movie was fucking terrible. It was just categorically a terrible movie. But
Categorically, Tim.
It was bad.
But I think what they really ruined was the potential to like really get deeper into like why the aliens are there and like why they're going through all of this trouble. Because it doesn't, like, I know it's like just a silly sci-fi movie, but they could have made it more serious. And the thing I was talking about with Colin and Greg live yesterday was, since they're clearly trying to make this into a trilogy, and they end, you know, spoilers, they end it in a way where they want to make a third movie. I hope they never get.
I was going to say, I really hope
get a chance.
the box office returns and just the critics and everybody steps in their fucking throat. Is like, no, you had your chance, you fucked it up.
What they should have done is like really strung it out in a more clever way. I think there was a few really nice moments in the movie that they could have like done more with. The fact that all of the guys that had direct contact with the alien hive mind, for instance, in the original one,
Were part of it.
like
I
are
mean,
all
some
part of it, and
degree,
it's
yeah.
cool, and they all like wake up to it, right?
That's cool.
And I love the idea of that we have a prison of aliens that we've captured, and they all start going fucking crazy, right? And everyone like doesn't know why. I'm like, it could have had more of a horror vibe. In fact, I was telling Greg, like, it would have been cool if in the entire movie you never see the aliens come.
Right.
Like, it's just like all the things that they're planning and doing, and that it would have been cool to have flash forwards from 96 and flashbacks from now about all the things that happened and all the clues that happened about how they're coming back and how they're staging another attack and all that kind of stuff. And then at the very end of the movie, they could have attacked. And then the third movie could have been about how we deal with them or whatever.
Right.
We got
And
to take the fight to them, Colin.
Well, now we're gonna go to their home planet. It sounds like, and that's
with our planet of refugee aliens.
dude.
And
I
crazy
can't
ass shit.
begin to tell you all of the problems this movie had just from a lore standpoint and a story standpoint. So I could never get past any of those things. Like for instance, we had the Roswell ship since the 40s. We never reverse engineered much of anything out of it except for like random things that they talk about, right? Then in 20 years since then, when a third of the Earth's population is destroyed, capital cities are gone, governments are in disarray, they somehow rebuild everything in 20 years. There's no civil wars or revolutions happening everywhere. Everyone's in peace.
You got
We have
alien
all of
tech.
these.
They're united against the aliens.
We have all of this
They
new
said that,
technology that they harness, a moon base.
Except in one area in Africa where there are tribal warlords who can somehow manage to keep all of the rest of the world out.
Away from the drilling
Away from-
apparatus.
We didn't even know there was a drilling
This
apparatus
ship
there.
That is a drilling apparatus that is the only thing that has landed and not been destroyed.
Kevin has something to
United States
check.
government has
Kevin's got
finally
everybody
landed on
cool
this.
down. Kevin's got something to interject. Get on your microphone, lay it on to us, Kev.
Come on,
Don't do the
Poppy.
thing.
Let's-
What do you
let's
got
put
for
our-
us?
Let's put our pants back on.
I just want to say, don't forget that those warlords were fighting the aliens for many years.
With
Many
swords.
years.
They knew how to take them down
But that's
one-on-one.
but see that
from behind.
That's another completely and totally ridiculous
That-
concept, right?
and
If there
that-
were still
oh.
aliens on the planet, working out of a ship, wouldn't the entire world be like, hey, we'll come to your aid because these aliens just fucked us up?
They didn't want
royally.
it. They're very proud. They're
Yeah, the
proud
tribal
people.
is like, nah, we got this.
This isn't Uganda or wherever. What is it? Is that Black Panther's place where like no one can actually come in because there's a fucking force field around it?
Okay.
This is a tribal lord in the middle of Africa, and we have spaceships that can fly across the world. Like we would have been like, yo, we're gonna come. Like you're not. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're a tribal leader or not. This is a giant spaceship. We're gonna come and we're gonna help you out with this.
Yeah, definitely China would have came to help for sure.
Oh, for sure,
'Cause they
China
needed
would have come to
They
help.
needed China's money.
Because China's awesome according to this movie, and
Yeah.
China could do no wrong.
I
according
loved
to this movie.
loved that. I loved
That-
and that's fine. But the inclusion of, I mean, it makes sense.
It's fine. It makes sense, but the reason why it's happening is annoying, and it's happening more and more in films. And
Because the Chinese movie market loves
Chinese
big
movie market
budget
loves-
explosions.
but they also are funding most of our movies now.
Yeah.
So
well, I saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too, where the whole thing is like.
happening in
and Transformers: Age of Extinction.
right.
That was the one where I remember that being the big deal. Like, oh, it's going to make all this money back in China. China loves disaster films. And then when you went and saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, in the opening is like 3 companies that have like China or Chinese in their title.
Right.
Like, dude, all right.
And these are all this is an unfortunate kind of reality where the film business is headed, right? Especially for these $200 to $300 million blockbusters, is that they're going outside of the United States to find money, and more often than not, they're going to China. And these films are starting to hint at being Chinese propaganda, right? They're starting to be like, you can't disparage China if you're taking all of the money from China. And as we all know, China's not exactly a perfect country, right?
Well, that's what happened with. I mean, that's what happened with Red Dawn. The
That's
remake
exactly
of Red
what
Dawn.
happened with Red
They
Dawn.
literally went into Red Dawn and removed all of the Chinese
They had
flags
to, 'cause
and made
China-
them North Korean flags.
That was a little bit of a different story.
With
China,
MGM.
China wasn't funding it. They just said they wouldn't release it in their country.
And they're such a
Yeah,
big
but
part
that's
of the
but
market.
that
We're
was
like, shit, all right,
but
we
that
can't
was
make our
ridiculous
money.
because that was similar to Homefront. That ruined the whole plot. The plot would have
Exactly.
been great if it was China, just
Yeah.
like the original Red Dawn made sense because it was the Soviet Union. So anyway, I
So
digress.
again, not that any sort of political stance has to take place in a $300 movie about aliens attacking the Earth. I'm totally fine. I'm not trying to disparage China or any Chinese people. It's fine that they painted them in a positive light, and it's cool that
even
the concept
even
was,
the woman that wanted you to take your pants out all the way.
Oh,
Not disparaging her.
well, she can go fuck herself. But you know what I mean? It's just a little weird that we're seeing this more and more now, and it's kind of starting to stick out like a sore thumb to me because it's so obvious the reason why unfortunately, I mean, in the plot, there didn't need to be any criticisms, but they're like, China is the bomb.com. Everyone should go to China. Like, I don't know. I just felt that. Maybe that's some sort of weird American racism.
I think it's weird American racism.
I actually feel like it was an overcompensation from criticisms of the original, which is that the United States basically dealt with it by themselves.
now we
like,
have the global tribunal of everyone.
right. So it's like I do think that was a response to that, but I just think so like because that was a common thing, and that's a common theme is that like the U.S. is like all about like independent, but I don't also think there's anything wrong with that. It's an American movie, you know, like. It's okay if we celebrate ourselves in these silly movies. It's our movie.
Oh,
you
no,
know?
I don't-
So like no. So I'm saying that about the original Independence Day, but that is also a reaction to that. I think. I don't know. I just think the movie was offensively bad. Like that was the thing. It's like I'm like the original Independence Day is a well remembered movie. Like people can talk about however they want, but that movie is like it's not a critical darling by any stretch of imagination. People like that movie. And I think,
Independence Day?
yeah,
Yeah,
I
they
fucking
like-
loved that movie when I saw it. And every time I see it, I'm like, I find new things in it. I'm like, I think this movie's still great. Like, you know, the plot's interesting. It's silly. It's good for
yeah.
kids. It's
Tim,
good for adults.
Why are we wrong?
You're wrong just because I don't know what the hell you expected. I think that I'm not saying this is a good movie. I think that I am totally impressed that it was as good as it even is at being a sequel to a movie that's 20 years old that was good at best back then.
You didn't live through it. You
by
don't know what it
taking-
was like.
I watched that movie in
You
theaters
were
with
only
Kevin.
6 years old.
Yeah, and
when
it was
that movie
fucking
came out.
awesome. Seeing the everything get blown up and shit, I was like, holy fucking shit.
Which this
Yeah,
movie
but-
totally didn't even do, which sucked.
But this movie did, and that's all on purpose though. Like that's all just like it knows how stupid it is that we're gonna show it, and just the American flag's just gonna kind of like fall down.
Sure.
What?
Because we have a ship the span of the ocean.
They're gonna
my
make
God.
dumbass jokes about the oh man, I guess that they like monuments.
They got a thing
It's
for
like,
landmarks,
The first
yeah.
movie blows up the fucking White House
Right.
like a boss. And this
One
movie,
of the most famous scenes in movie history, I would say.
And then
And
they
it's
rebuilt
awesome.
it brick by brick.
But that's because that was the 90s. That was when that was new and fresh and cool, and there was something special about that. It was a special movie. This is not a special movie. This is
True.
another blockbuster movie in 2016 that is the CG Fest number 1092
Sure.
of this generation of movies. So it's like, all right, whatever. There's no wow factor in that. There's no wow factor in seeing aliens come to Earth like they did Earth. Like they did
Welcome
back
to
then.
Earth.
You take Will Smith out of it. You take all of the things that give it any chance of actually being good. What are you left with? And I'm happy that we got this. We got a thing that's like, all right, all the characters from the first one that we can get are going to be in it. We're going to start the movie with the aliens watching a fucking stream of this speech.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
We're going to make stupid references to the like monuments and stuff. We're going to have so many characters for no fucking reason. Nobody watches that movie and is like, this plot makes sense. This plot is good, whatever. They didn't give a fuck. We got that love scene between the guy that was fucking crazy and his like doctor guy.
Yeah.
Thank you. That scene to me made this movie.
main character number one,
Dr.
with
Oaken?
side character or sidekick number one. Everyone had a fucking sidekick. in this.
Everyone, and
Mike,
it was awesome.
I have a question
Why?
for Colin as somebody who watched it the night before. I don't remember. Is the doctor who, first off, died in Independence Day, but is now just in a
Dr.
coma
Oaken,
or
yeah,
whatever?
totally died. Yeah, he
did
totally died in the first
Did you remember his second in command man there? Like
No,
being in the
I
movie?
really don't remember that.
Okay.
But
I like that it was like this whole thing. I wanted them to go the full thing and kiss at the end. They didn't. I was like,
didn't.
well, that was kind of half-assed.
I feel like, yeah, Oaken actually like one of the better touchstones to the original movie, I think, in
Sure.
Resurgence. Just like, because he clearly dies in the first one. But
yeah, doesn't he, like, then they take
alien,
the thing off his neck and his eyes are wide open.
yeah, and he's like, well, but I guess he's unconscious. Duke's in a coma. As the G.I. Joe movie was rewritten.
Now,
And
you
everyone
want
knows.
to talk about sidekicks, though, that fucking suck. This bean counter bitch that fucking shows up and he's following Jeff Goldblum,
yeah.
and he gets out, and then he gets
Oh.
thrown into it, and then he befriends Machete Man. It's just
Why?
like, what is
Why?
going
You
have the heart of a warrior.
Oh my god.
First off, Tim, to address your earlier point,
Yeah.
yes, the original Independence Day was not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination, but it was a very endearing movie that everyone loved back in the day, and it was a sign of the times, right? It's held in the same regard as Bad Boys and Armageddon and all these other movies that were really, really, really fun. That, despite themselves, had something to them, blockbuster popcorn films, right?
And you
you're right.
expected what fraction of that from this movie?
Well,
I expected the whole thing.
I expected it a little bit because you still have some of the original cast returning, most notably Jeff Goldblum, who was usually awesome and everything,
But
who
is
was-
becoming Adam West. This was a full-on Adam West impression the whole time.
Well, and I feel like it's because the story again tried to do way too much. It had way too many characters, way too many stories. I liked Bill Pullman in it. I liked his character.
actually,
I liked
it was
that
pretty good.
concept.
Yeah,
I
me too.
liked that Jeff Goldblum was like the director of this initiative, but still fighting some of the politics of the time. I thought that was cool. What I actually liked Liam Hemsworth. I thought he was one of the better characters in the whole thing until
Nice!
he was like nice, like pull the
I
fucking
can't, where is that
On
gif?
the alien-
That gif has to exist
on the
already.
alien craft.
pulled a fucking Point Break
Nice.
Bill and Ted's Adventure on the. I mean, and I guess that's my main part. Is A, there were way too many characters going on. B, the story itself was a direct ripoff from the first one. So much so that they even say, "Hey, this worked last time. Let's do it again this time."
They're all on ham radios and it's like literally shot for shot.
Yeah.
When they got the last speech from the
we have
president.
another
Like, what
speech,
the
but it's
hell?
like he just wrote that like real quick. It's like, Bill, did you go back to your hotel and write the speech like I told
No,
you to?
see, I am the other way where it's like I give this movie credit that it wasn't just the exact same movie again. Granted, there was elements. Sure, that's gonna happen. It's a very, very similar premise overall.
Right.
But I thought that I expected it to end with them going to space and finding the ship
See,
and all that shit.
Yeah, what I thought there were. I'll talk about the bad elements, then let me talk about the good ones. So ultimately, it was way too many characters, and none of the characters you didn't actually care about any of the characters. Not the least of which that fucking sidekick character to Liam Hemsworth,
Oh,
who
yeah.
was.
You're my brother, bro.
Is probably an
Don't do that
amazing
to
voice
me.
actor for child cartoons, but doesn't really work well when you're trying to build tension or drama, right?
Bill Pullman's daughter, though,
She's awesome.
big fan of
She
her,
was great.
just in general.
I didn't particularly care for the kid who plays the younger Will Smith's son. I didn't care about him.
Will Smith's painting, though,
That was
the
awesome.
big picture of him.
Where it's
Are you
literally
fucking
just
kidding
in
me?
the
White House,
That
yeah.
alone makes this movie not terrible.
Right.
That alone, it's like, this is a bad movie. Don't get me wrong, but they did that. They
Right.
committed as much as they could.
Oh, they did something. What? So I just think it was biting off way too much more than they can chew. To Colin's earlier point, they had some really cool setup, right? The idea that there's another, like when the first ship popped out and they said, no, don't attack them. This doesn't look like their architecture. This might be a brand new species. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, I was like, oh,
that's
shit.
fucking
Really?
cool.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
That's
that's
lame as fuck. I'm just glad they didn't go the predictable route of them later betraying them and them actually being the bad guy, because that would
I
have
thought
just
that
been
was
too
what was
fucking
gonna
much.
happen too.
But they didn't,
But-
because they forgot about it, because they had 8 writers and they're
See,
just
I
like,
thought-
I bet you that was the plot somewhere.
They did
along.
have 8 writers. I thought that, guarantee it was. I'd love to read the drafts of that movie as it started, as it went from being like a legit sequel to whatever.
There was
wound
never
up.
a legit
That's
sequel.
probably true.
I
You're probably
promise
absolutely-
you.
I mean,
it probably got better actually as they wrote.
I mean, I'd love to see the scripts from the 90s. I mean, they've been trying to make ID Forever or whatever forever.
Forever.
Since like, I remember they were talking about like 97, 98. I bet you there are scripts from the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that are-
surprising. Well, the problem is I think Will Smith blew up after that movie, so it was like probably impossible to get him in it. But
He got
He had to
jiggy
make
with
Wild
it.
West.
yeah, oh god, that movie. But I loved some of the concepts they were playing with. Right, I like that this is one of those species that is like plaguing the rest of the universe, similar to like it reminded me of something out of Invincible, right? Where you've got like the other species that can't be beat, and everyone has to rally around them in a last ditch effort to sort of beat to try to put up a front. So I think that's really, really cool. It's just they tried to make you care about these characters that were paper thin. The plot itself at the end was, I mean, it was like scene for scene fucking Alien versus Predator, where like the big mother alien was like running around with chains wrapped around. You know, it's like, what was the point of that?
School bus full of kids.
Shout out to Judd Hirsch.
Yeah, what the fuck?
And then Jeff Goldblum's dad, whatever his name is.
My David.
I want you kids to stay with me.
Yeah,
What?
I think it'd be a good idea if you live with me
kids
from
are
now
like,
on.
yeah, we'll do
cool.
it for a while. What the fuck is happening?
They're orphans now.
All right. They just like, that's the thing about this is it was a good opportunity to make Independence Day great. You know, like
Make Independence Day great again.
But I think in the original, what I liked so much about it was silly and absurd, but all the characters were in it to win it. All the actors at least acted like these were serious circumstances.
Let's go faster.
You know, we have that great line, which is a callback from Jurassic Park. We've got like Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum have this great chemistry, and when they're on the ship together, even though it's fucking
They do have great
absurd
chemistry.
that they're like USB hacking into a fucking
with
alien
an
spaceship
Apple
with an
laptop.
Apple laptop,
They
you
interface with
still
each other.
believe it, right? Because there's still a fucking tension, and when that door starts to close, you want him to get out of there because you fucking care about those characters. In this one, he's like, "Are we gonna wait for the dog? I guess we're waiting for the dog." As a fucking giant alien is running toward them, and I'm like, "Leave the fucking dog!
Don't get me started
Leave
on
the
the whole
dog!"
Don't get me started on the whole hive mind thing either, because like they really like went to the nth degree with that bullshit. The aliens, right? The normal aliens, and this is one of the cool things I really fucking loved about Independence Day was that they're in biosuits. They are fucking little pieces of shit,
Right.
You know, and I loved that. I was like, this is so cool. They're so, because evolution suggests that as you become hyper intelligent, your head gets huge, your body becomes
gets
weaker
smaller,
because
sure.
you don't need to use it anymore.
Right.
And so I love that they have these intimidating looking fucking crazy exoskeletons that they wear. And inside they're still scary looking, but they're a little piece of shit. You fucking kill them in 2 seconds. That's why they wear those suits.
Right.
Their queen is like a monster
That
from a fucking God of War game.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and I'm like, why is she even here? Why are they exposing her like this? Like, it doesn't make any
fucking sense. And that was my biggest, like, the first act was good. The second act of the film was when Greg turned to me and said, "This is a bad movie." And then by the third act, I was like, this just breaks with logic so far. Like, why? She has literally thousands of drones that could have attacked this base. We see them. Why did she need to take her ship out and put it in the middle of the fucking desert exposed?
Because she had to get that ball, man. She had that IFR signature.
And all the ball was like, go to this planet. Like, it wasn't even a bomb. That's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be the weapon that would kill this alien ship. And that the whole time they had to chase after the ball, which was some MacGuffin, right? And they figure out, like, I thought what they were going to do was they had to bring all these people together that would had contact with the aliens to one common place to activate this one big fucking weapon that would destroy the ship, right? And then tell them that they had to go forward and fight the rest of the aliens on their home turf, right? But instead, it was just an iPad. Like, all it was just a little like record, and it was like,
thing.
"Sorry, I can't really help you guys. I mean, I guess you could try killing the the mothership like you did last time, I guess. Oh, and by the way, if you manage to survive this, why don't you go to a fucking random planet? You haven't mastered interstellar travel by any stretch of the imagination.
They're about to, though.
But go ahead. Why not? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's
Fight the war.
It's incredible. See, this is where the plot falls apart in its essence, right? If they just left it alone in the original Independence Day, they were clearly there to take the planet.
Right. They were going to kill us all, enslave us all, and take the planet.
And
right.
Exactly. Just take the planet.
But
That's what they
instead-
They
wanted.
were going to use up the
Instead,
resources, right?
They
Wasn't
want to
that the
come to a
thing?
planet that has a molten lava core, or whatever it is, of which there are probably way more in the universe.
That's the whole thing. That's what I was talking about with Kevin, is that like it's not rare to find a fucking planet with molten cores. They have to come all the way to Earth to do that?
They had a vendetta.
Now, see, this is where the plot could have been. Like,
it's
it would have been
personal.
cool if they were like, if the aliens were like, or they figured it out in some way. Like, the aliens do go from planet to planet like locusts. They take everything they need and they go to the next planet. Didn't know that they needed the core to fuel their fucking hyperdrives, or whatever. That doesn't make any sense. But okay, it would have been cool if the aliens actually like snapped and were like, we've never been beaten by anyone. We're coming back simply to fuck you up. We don't care about anything about this
Right.
planet. We're here to destroy your planet, and we created this new device that's going to drill into the like whatever. That would have actually made 10 times more sense.
See, so I feel like that's what they were trying to allude to, but they just didn't do it. Like, to Kevin's point earlier, it was they're watching themselves be beat for the first time. We can't let this stand, because if we do, this one civilization might be able to rally the rest of them and beat us. Let's go fuck them up. That's what I got from that. But if you're going to do that, the introduction of because everything always has to be world threatening, right? So the introduction of this world machine that burrows into the core and destroys the Earth, it's like, well, Why? Okay, great. Why don't you just fucking do that? Like, you don't have a better weapon that can just do that real quick? It has to be like, it's always like countdown and life in the world has to be.
Yeah, and
I
I like how he's like, it's the same pattern. Like the pattern that was counting down in the original one for all the mothership or for all the disparate parts of the mothership or whatever. I'm like, it's the same pattern. Are you like they're back and they're doing the same thing? Like, don't they learn anything at all?
I don't know.
And wouldn't it have been way more interesting if they weren't this like hive mind of fucking ants basically too? They're so fucking intelligent. They built a ship 3,000 miles in diameter.
Right.
That means they had to build it in orbit around their home planet or somewhere else with all this crazy technology and all that kind of stuff. And they don't know how to get fucking molten lava to fuel whatever they need. Like, it
they
doesn't
don't
make
realize
sense.
that if one thing on this ship dies, everything else can't function.
Bring her with us.
You know what, guys?
Bring her with us.
She's got it. Everyone sit back, have a fresca, and just relax, because Mama Alien's got this one covered.
You guys
Sometime
you're
there's
not
a
giving
final
enough credit.
boss.
You're not giving enough credit to Will Smith's son.
What about Vivica Fox?
And
She
watching-
saved that baby.
Who's the
and
doctor
watching,
now?
Who
you
just
know?
was, and then the son just got to hover there and watch
And
it.
she's a stripper.
Yeah, she was a stripper in the other one.
Hey, she had dreams.
Things
Strippers
happen.
have dreams.
20 alien technology, Colin. You're missing the
I
alien
know.
technology.
They injected her with alien, spliced her with alien
There you
genes.
The emotion that he showed when his mom died, that he knew.
No, moms.
If that ain't acting, I don't know what is.
That wasn't acting.
Independence Day resurgence.
I don't think
I
that
can't
was
say
acting.
anything in the movie was acting. Jeff Goldblum played Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum played Jeff Goldblum playing Jeff Goldblum. I don't even think he tried to be, you know what I mean? He was like, it's like he saw himself on a TV and was like, I should be more like that guy. And so I'm going to be more like that guy. It's sad because I think there's a lot of things that go into this, but like for Jeff Goldblum specifically, I mean, he's just too successful, right? Like, he doesn't need to fucking try hard anymore, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, his character was always weird. So it's I mean, this is the same thing where it's just he was a cable repairman that then got to go do this.
Was he?
No,
wasn't
remember that was
really
his
a cable
dad. That was
repairman.
what his dad did. That was
Oh,
a joke.
okay.
That was a Judd Hirsch. Judd Hirsch nails it though. Totally worthless
Judd
plot
Hirsch.
line, but I love him.
Useless.
Wish he was my grandfather.
No reason for him to be in the film.
That's my David.
whatsoever.
Almost die. I'm on a boat. There's a big thing. This
reason-
looks like the end.
And that's
but
the thing.
now I
So
ain't
many of those.
dead.
Everyone should be dead from that.
No
time.
reason
buddy.
for the sidekick of Liam Hemsworth and the Chinese girl to be in the film whatsoever.
For the Chinese is why the Chinese.
guys in the
That's
boat-
true, other than to serve the Chinese propaganda.
guys in
that was
the boat.
first
The guys in
30
the
minutes
boat
of the
who
movie.
were monitoring the situation from their fishing raft.
Didn't need those guys in the movie whatsoever. They were there, useless. They could have literally been like another perfect example. What fucking piece of technology does this fishing raft have that allows them to monitor what's drilling into the Earth's
Now,
fucking core?
They
were
were
just
there as
looking.
treasure hunters, but I don't think they had.
They had a planet, and it was the drill was going into that was on their screen. It was a planet, and they were looking at the layers of the crust as the drill was going down. What fucking computer? Why do they need that piece of
With an
equipment?
accurate countdown clock.
Countdown,
too.
how quickly it's gonna hit when it hits the word score. Completely ridiculous, and that was ridiculous. I honestly feel like they put that team in there just for the one line where he's like, "Tell him we'll do it for $100 million," and he goes, "They said yes," and it was like, "Oh, let's scramble and not be drunk."
Yeah.
But that was completely useless. So I could have cut that shit all the way out.
Yeah.
Could have cut out the part where
They could have cut out the whole movie.
Judd Hurst is it Judd Hurst?
Yeah.
Surfs a fucking tidal wave with this planet-sized device that is so strong and so big it has its own gravity. And all it does is suck up some of the landmarks and they all come down. I don't know how they came down because the thing still has its own gravity because it's so big.
They turned it off. I
What
thought.
comes up must come down.
Yeah, they always go for the landmarks. Yeah, I guess they turned off the gravity in their ship, even though when they went onto the ship, I guess, whatever, it was effective ours.
But they still they can turn the gravity on and off, but they need our molten core.
Yeah, they gotta have the molten core. They've mastered
They've mastered interstellar
gravity
travel.
and interstellar travel, but they gotta get that molten
And they
core.
can't find a planet closer to their home system than
Now,
Earth.
Colin, as the expert again, did you see any call outs to Randy Quaid's character in there? Was it like they talked about like memorial hospitals and things like that? I can't remember what his name
Randy
was.
Quaid Memorial Hospital.
I can't remember what his character's name was.
I don't remember his character's name.
Okay.
I mean, I watched the first one. I mean, I've seen that movie so many times where I just take it for granted, kind of. Where I'm like, yeah, this is what happens in the movie, and it's great. I wish this movie never
just made a
happened.
shit- exactly.
I wish in 10 years we were still like, man, where's that Independence Day sequel?
Yes, 100%. We
That's where I'm
wanted
at.
it. It took forever. We got it.
Gotta be careful what you ask for.
And it ruined the legacy of Independence
It did.
Day.
That's the
Oh
big
my
thing.
God.
That's the big
Tim,
thing.
you don't
You guys
understand.
are hilarious.
You don't understand, Tim.
That's the big thing. I really
You
agree
don't
with you.
Not
understand.
sure what I don't understand. I don't know what you thought. I don't
I
understand.
thought that a great movie was getting a great sequel.
My God, Greg.
My God. No. Oh, and they had that guy. He's dead, right? But that was like him computer generated into the thing?
Was he? Is that guy dead?
I don't know.
Oh,
I'm
really?
asking.
I don't know. I know he died. You mean the general?
Yeah.
The guy was
Charles-
like, you gotta get in the thing and do the thing. That's a terrible impression.
That is the worst impression of that
Sorry,
actor.
that was my bad. I'm sorry. I tried, guys. For a second. My God. No, I can't do it. I can't do that. My God.
Who's dead?
The general?
Fill
the
for
first
me
one?
while I figure it out.
I don't know.
I'm trying to think of another movie he was in. You know what I'm talking. You'll know him when you see him. He's always the general or the coach in every movie.
Is that the guy that had like
He played.
Yeah, he was sitting there in his old man outfit.
He played the coach of the offensive line in
Robert
Necessary
Loge.
Roughness.
Yeah, Robert Loge.
Robert Loge.
Is that that's it? Yeah, it is.
Was he in Necessary Roughness? Did I get that
Died
right?
December 4th, 2015.
So that probably was him.
You
That
think
may
so?
have been his last movie.
Yeah, I mean, they probably filmed it.
It's
They had to
like
do
I was
post-production.
watching that. I'm like, I think he's dead, and then I looked at his face, and I'm like, that face looks pasted onto a body. So yeah, I don't.
Jukebox.
My name's Robert Loge. That's from what Family Guy?
L-O-G.
Bill Pullman coming out shaved.
That was awesome.
was fucking epic.
That
you look
was
great.
a great moment. That was a
See,
great moment.
what I wanted. The thing is, it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Like I'm like, if you're gonna go here, okay, if you're gonna go here, you're gonna put Bill Pullman back in the movie as the president, kill off the other president, as they did, and just be like, no, I'm not gonna take this.
Not you.
William Fichtner should have been like, no, I don't deserve this. He's our president.
He's
right
our
now.
president.
And then have him come lead,
President.
and have him with just that badass beard to him, be like, all right, cool. Not, I'm gonna get in a plane and fly into this ship to destroy it. Another useless plot line that actually didn't do anything.
Yeah, everyone was really eager to commit suicide in this one. Even
That
though
was
it
the
first
thing
one.
is like the life and death didn't matter. And it's to your point where you're talking about how in the original Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith flying out and the doors closing, you're like, oh my God, I hope they make it. In this one, when they were all flying out, Liam Hemsworth, the Chinese woman, I was just like,
I wanted the
Now-
side ass
so then they get out, and the other orphan boy, Liam Hemsworth's friends, like,
Everyone's an orphan.
And it's just like, yeah, we got him. I don't care about any of this.
The thing about the president dying, the female president dying,
That was cool.
Is another cool scene that could have been way cooler if
Right.
in my version of the movie, which is like, first of all, I think that scene is cool when she's like, there will be no peace, and like they come and start like killing whatever. I'm like, that's cool. Little shout out to the first one, but which was the entire movie. But would have been cooler if that happened towards the end of the movie in my version of the movie, where the aliens are starting to like use subterfuge and like starting to like kind of plant everything, and they clearly know where like the leadership is. They kill the whole cabinet, they say, right? So like it would have been cool if like that's one of the ending scenes of my version of the second Independence Day, which is like where they actually start like sabotaging the leadership and start like really going crazy, and then like
Right.
and then the ships like show up or whatever, because they're clearly what's so funny.
I want to help co-write this scene with you. And they're like, they're here. They found us. How did they find us? And they cut around, and there's one of the exoskeleton suits like all badly in a general's outfit and a hat on. There must be more on the inside. Fucking tentacles everywhere.
I think it's Tim.
Fucking Octodad.
That'd be amazing. That's a good.
He's been with
Family
them the
Guy
whole
skit
movie,
right
but they
there.
never like they show him in the movie, but they never say anything about it.
That'd be fucking hilarious if they had balls to do that, because everyone in the theater's like, am I crazy? He's like 8 feet tall, and they just make no reference. Mike, what do you think?
He's doing some kind of fucking psychic bullshit to them so they don't notice.
Interesting, Mike. Okay. I
don't know.
Let's take a break.
I think we should let him in.
An alien species so evolved they have biological exosuits. They evolved to have no vocal cords because they communicate telepathically. They build ships that are 3,000 miles in diameter that can travel between the stars. They lose to the humans again.
Yeah, again. Didn't learn anything from last time.
That's our
and how they lost is
gumption.
exactly the same as the time before.
Colin,
Yeah.
what's your topic?
We've
We've beaten the Independence Day horse to death.
I can beat it
Again.
for hours.
We could have gone on for 30.
So
45
similar to
minutes.
Independence Day. So I was reading one of my favorite things to read about. I like to read about astronomy. I like to read about space. Yesterday I revisited one of an old kind of favorite of mine, which is something called the Fermi Paradox. And I wanted to present this to you guys and then see what you think the solutions are to the Fermi Paradox. Okay. So the Fermi Paradox, the idea of the Fermi Paradox, and I'm reading Wikipedia just to make it easier or whatever. Says the Fermi Paradox, named after Enrico Fermi, who was a
Fermi Lab, what up?
Shout out to
Batavia,
Enrique.
Illinois.
is the apparent contradiction between the lack of evidence and high probability estimates, e.g. those given by the Drake equation, which is another thing I'll talk about in a second, for the existence of extraterrestrial civilizations. The basic points of the argument made by physicists Enrico Fermi and Michael Hart are: there are billions of stars in the galaxy that are similar to the sun, and many of which are billions of years older than Earth. With high probability, some of these stars will have Earth-like planets, and if the Earth is typical, some might develop intelligent life. Some of these civilizations might develop interstellar travel, a step that Earth is now investigating. Even at the slow pace of currently envisioned interstellar travel, the Milky Way galaxy could be completely traversed in about 1 million years. According to this line of
change.
thinking, The Earth should have already been visited by extraterrestrial aliens. In an informal conversation, Fermi noted no convincing evidence of this, letting him to ask, where is everybody? There have been many attempts to explain the Fermi Paradox, primarily suggesting either that intelligent extraterrestrial life is extremely rare, or proposing reasons that such civilizations have not contacted or visited Earth. So they mentioned something called the Drake equation. The Drake equation is another thing where someone, I think a Harvard mathematician, tried to figure out the likelihood of how much intelligent life's in the galaxy using like, and there's no way to have really a number, a real number, basically because some of the factors that they have to use are just unknown. So the Drake equation, I'll just read it to you real quick. So you have.
Can I take a guess as to what
Sure.
the Drake equation is?
Sure.
If we all start from the bottom and work real hard, we can now be here.
Right.
Oh man, you should be like
that's good.
X.
That's
so
very good.
at
I'm
the
so
bottom.
mad. I was trying to Google it fast enough, but there's that one Rihanna song where Drake has the equation for the square root of whatever. Anyway,
Oh, Jesus.
go.
Sorry.
That's too deep.
So
That's too
the
deep.
number of civilizations in our
You're good.
galaxy which communication would be possible is what equals the average rate of star formation times the fraction of those stars that have planets times the average number of planets that can potentially support life times the fraction of planets that can support life that actually develop life times the fraction of planets with life that will go on to develop intelligent life times the fraction of civilizations that develop a technology that release detectable signs of their existence times the length of time for which civilizations release detectable signals into space. And people come up with numbers that are anywhere from like 1 or less than 1 to 100,000, right, in the galaxy. So there are some people that think like life is so rare that it is likely less than one intelligent civilization per galaxy, which is billions of stars.
Mm-hmm.
So I tell you that to bring you back into this thing here. So basically you get the idea.
Okay.
The Fermi Paradox is the idea that if alien life is so common as we so think, then why haven't they come and visited us?
Right.
Why wouldn't they be here? Certainly they would know we were here. So here are the explanations, and I want you guys to tell me what you think if these explanations are good or bad, and what you think the explanation might be why we haven't been contacted with aliens. We're all equally laymen in this. None of us are physicists, so it doesn't matter.
Kevin, are you a physicist? No, he's not.
No, he's in a sugar coma from that whoopie pie you gave him.
I did give him whoopie pie.
So
I'll
here's
second
and this is all from Wikipedia again, so you guys can go read about it if you want. So the first one is the rare Earth hypothesis. And the rare Earth hypothesis, it says, those who think that intelligent extraterrestrial life is nearly impossible argue that the conditions needed for the evolution of life are rare or even unique to Earth. Under this assumption called the rare Earth hypothesis, a rejection of the mediocrity principle, which basically says that Earth is not special. Complex multicellular life is regarded as exceedingly unusual. So do you think that that's a valid explanation? That, in other words, we might be the only intelligent species in the whole galaxy.
I don't think so.
No, it's dumb.
Yeah, I was gonna say run through them all. Run through because
Okay.
then we'll weigh in on what we.
All right,
like.
so no other intelligent species have arisen in the galaxy, and we're talking about interstellar travel, not intergalactic travel, which is probably maybe impossible, but maybe a species.
So you're talking about in the Milky Way?
right?
Okay.
That's always. I mean, even in Mass Effect, for instance, which is like considered like real sci-fi or like grounded sci-fi, like they have no prayer of leaving the galaxy. That's why Andromeda is so big, because they do go. So no other intelligent species has arisen. It is possible that even complex life is common. Intelligence is not. While there are remote sensing techniques that could perhaps detect life-bearing planets without relying on the signs of technology, none of them has any ability to tell if detected life is intelligent. This is sometimes referred to as the algae versus aluminate problem. So the idea of like algae versus metal, like you're using aluminum. Intelligent, I think that's what it means. Intelligent alien species lack advanced technology. It may be that while alien species with intelligence exist, they are primitive or have not reached the level of technological advancement necessary to communicate.
So like us?
Well, we can communicate.
Yeah, we're
send
we're
radio
beaming
signals.
signals out into space.
Oh, okay.
We're not doing it intentionally, but they can
What's
detect.
the
That's
Olympics,
that's
right?
what contact is all about.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Olympics, right? The whatever.
Carl Sagan's Contact is about how alien species received the first television signals we send out, which is Hitler at the 1932 Berlin Games. And
Bad choice for us.
and they beam
Yeah,
it, and they
not
beam,
a good look.
They don't have any idea what it is, but they beam it back with all this math encrypted in it, and that's how they communicate with us.
They put the Drake equation.
By the
in.
way, Contact is fucking awesome.
Contact is awesome.
The book's great, and the movie's also great. Jodie Foster.
Matthew McConaughey.
It is the nature of intelligent life to destroy itself. Is another option. This is the argument that technological civilizations may usually or invariably destroy themselves before or shortly after developing radio or spaceflight technology. It is the nature of intelligent life to destroy others. Another hypothesis is that an intelligent species at a certain point of technological capability will destroy other intelligent species as they appear. The idea that something or someone might be destroying intelligent life in the universe has been explored in the scientific literature. That's what Mass Effect's all about. This is called the technological singularity. Periodic extinction by natural events. So nothing evolves long enough before something cataclysmic happens, like what happened to the dinosaurs.
Right.
Inflation hypothesis and the youngness argument. Cosmologist Alan Guth proposed a multiverse solution to the Fermi Paradox. This hypothesis uses the synchronous gauge probability distribution that young universes exceedingly outnumber older ones. Therefore, averaged over all universes with civilizations will almost only have just one, the first to develop. So this is like a weird kind of metaphysical thing, assuming that we have multiple dimensions. Intelligent civilizations are too far apart in space or time. This is the one I think is the reason, personally. It may be that non-colonizing technologically capable civilizations exist, but that they are simply too far apart for meaningful two-way communication. It is too expensive to spread physically throughout the galaxy, so it's just not a practical thing to do.
Right.
So aliens might know we're here, but there is no reason for them to contact
They're
us
just
at
like,
all.
no, it's not worth it.
Human beings have not existed long enough. This is another one I think is possible. And this is a really big one. So, because it says humanity's ability to detect intelligent life has existed for only a very brief period from 1937 onwards. So that's with the invention of the radio telescope,
right?
Which is, I think, one of the things that's huge. Humans are not listening properly. This is another thing that's possible, that the alien life is so different and distinct to us that we don't know that they're actually trying to get in contact with us, or they're maybe even here. Civilizations broadcast detectable radio signals only for a brief period of time, which is what we've been doing. So they they would have to be listening to our planet for the last 60 years to know we're here. So why wouldn't it be the other way around as well?
Right.
They tend to isolate themselves. I think this is another possible one. And this goes into like virtual environments and all that kind of stuff about how like the aliens might be so advanced that this is all simulation, which is something that Elon Musk talks about. They are too alien. We simply don't know how to identify them at all.
Right.
Everyone is listening. No one is transmitting. So the idea that everyone's listening for each other, but no one's actually trying to pulse out information about their own whereabouts, mostly because it's dangerous.
Except for
This
us.
is something Stephen Hawking.
Except for us.
Yeah, except
We're
for
the
us.
only dipshits that do that.
Well, we're not doing it intentionally. Though.
Here's Hitler.
We're doing it by the nature of our broadcast, but
Right.
we're not beaming shit into space. And this is something that has actually been talked about in the past. And people like Stephen Hawking often talk about how you don't want to let anyone know you're here.
Yeah, it'd be a bad idea.
We are sending out the.
Get on the microphone. Come on. We bought the microphone for you. You lean back. You're half asleep.
I told you I wanted one with a button. This is too hard. But yeah,
You literally hit a button to turn it on.
You know what I meant?
Pretty soon we'll take his legs and just put wheels instead.
Oh my God.
You just put a chair in.
We
instead.
did send out that satellite with the discs on them, so we are, attempting.
Oh, well, that's in case anyone finds them. We intentionally don't send out signals about where we are, like beaming out in space. We can send it in every direction in the galaxy,
Right.
If we wanted to. And then they go into things like, the zoo hypothesis, which is something we were talking about at the table before, which is the idea that the aliens know we're here and that they leave us alone because we're not ready.
Right.
We ain't ready.
And then there's the
They just
dangers
watched
to communicate.
Resurgence. They're like, no.
They are here undetected. They are here unacknowledged. And that's basically it. So out of those various options, and there are many, so I don't expect you to
there's a
remember them
ton.
all. What do you think are the options? So I don't think the rare Earth hypothesis, for instance, I think that's bullshit. There's no way, just based on math. And this is where the Drake equation comes into play.
Right.
I do think that, and I don't know how you guys feel about it, because we're all we're not astrophysicists, so we have no insight into this at all. I do think that the most logical thing is that we are young, so we haven't been listening long enough, and that we are far apart.
Yeah, I think that's more of it. I think when you start talking about aliens, you jump to flying saucers and the intergalactic spaceships that's 300 million miles wide or whatever. And I think more than likely it would be that they're, if not less than us, just a little bit more than us. I don't know if I believe in like they're fucking teleporting around and doing all this and they have the technology and the ability to get here. I do think they're out there for sure. I just don't think that they're that much advanced. I mean, we're talking about like, like in that, the thing you just read or whatever. It's like, in the next million years, we should have intergalactic travel down interstellar travel down or whatever. Well, I mean, that's a long time. Even if we're a million years out, maybe they're 500,000 years out, but they're still 500,000 years out. I think it is a time thing. Yeah, that we just haven't been out there. And I think that there's not as far along either.
Yeah, I agree totally. I think even when you look at just Earth, right? There's humans and there's all these animals and stuff. Like there's a whole bunch of different shit going on. We know there's a whole bunch of other planets, even in this galaxy, outside of this galaxy, whatever. It's like it'd be ridiculous for the rare Earth thing to be accurate. Like that just doesn't check out in my mind. I don't understand how the fuck humans exist. I don't understand how the fuck animals exist. Why things are all different. Whatever. They're there. I can't argue that. So it's like someone would ask me, do I think aliens are there? Absolutely. They have to be. There's a whole bunch of different planets. They're probably chilling. And they're probably in similar places like we are, where it's like they can't talk to us. I don't know which one that falls under.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few of them that are that way. I agree with you, because this is the thing, the rare Earth hypothesis, which is interesting. There's a whole book about it. I can't remember the name of it. Is the idea that there might be Earths, but like like Earth-like planets in that Goldilocks zone they call it, which is like nearer to the sun. It's the idea of life as we know it, which I fucking hate because I think we make assumptions about what life is. It's just what some of these things talk about. Like it breathes oxygen, it drinks water, it's carbon-based. I'm sure that there's life out there that doesn't do any of that. That has nothing to do with amino acids, doesn't have the DNA structure we have and all those kinds of things. And I think that's the argument they're saying is that like, since we know only life as we know it, it has to have these like 100 things go right. And that's just not probable, and it's probable to the extent of less than one per galaxy, which still means that there are millions of civilizations, by the way. But we have no prayer of getting in touch with them at all. And they don't know we're here when we don't know they're there. So I don't know. Nick?
Either we're too far away or they've been here and don't care.
They've been here already.
Yeah. Either we've already made some sort of contact. They know we're here. They've been here a little bit. Maybe popped down and did a couple anal probes. And we're like, these aren't tight enough. And they go back up.
These aren't tight enough.
You know what I mean? There are people, there's a lot of people who maybe for whatever reason have reported seeing some sort of alien being, right? Maybe it's all conspiracy theory. Maybe it's just, delusions based on fear, what your brain does to you when you're super scared. But I would not be surprised if they're like, we came, we saw, it's not that great.
Yeah.
Left.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the other thing too. This goes with some of the other ones. I don't remember which one exactly, but it's like we have no idea what they are, how they look, or what is even. It could be just some wind thing, but they're alive. They can see each other.
Right.
We don't fucking know because it's like who the hell knows? Because it's alien shit. So they could be here. They could have been here and left, or they could be here next week and leave us alone. And we have no idea. It's like when we're talking about life and stuff, like what does qualify as life? Because if you start making it like what is human like, that's very different, because what if there is cougars and shit somewhere else, but those cougars are hella smart.
Oh, there's cougars.
What would you do, Greg, if you landed on an alien planet and it was just a civilization of porties who were like,
can I communicate?
He's here.
I'd be stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they call you the keeper, the master.
Sure.
Either of them, whichever one you prefer.
Was it like Planet of the Apes where I'm like the dog?
No. They for the longest time it's just been a group of like highly advanced wiener dogs who have been without a leader, and they all have to pee really badly because someone hasn't been there to take them out in a while. And you come in, they're like, "Thank God you're here. I've had to pee for the last millennium. Like you need to come take me out."
You
for
make a lot
walk."
of jokes about this, but Colin will back me up. There's a lot of theories that dogs are aliens.
I've never heard that theory before.
I wanted to present Fermi
They
Paradox.
look like they're aliens though. Look at them little fuckers.
They
Weird.
do. Lola looks like an alien. She looks like Yoda. I wanted to present this simply because I feel like we get caught into this in these earthly kind of things, these small questions, these small ideas that are relevant to us on a daily basis. We were talking about the Brexit and all this kind of stuff. I mean, these are important things, but the only philosophical, like existential, intellectual question that ultimately matters, I think, is like, are we alone? Yeah. Like, I really do believe like there's so much knowledge and information out there that we don't understand and don't know. And I think so. I think that I like that people, even if Fermi Paradox basically suggests that life isn't common, that it's an idea worth thinking about, because I do believe that there are intelligent species out there having the same fucking conversation in their own way.
I think why are we here is more important than that. Because like we know we're here, we don't know if something else is there.
We think we're here. Could be a simulation.
I guess you're right. Could be
I mean,
simulation thing. Someone's been watching a bit too much. Some media, entertainment.
The Matrix goes into that, all that kind of stuff. But there are big minds out there that really do believe that like there's something fucked up about our reality, And it's like one of those cool things that you like really think about, where you don't know, like what's real is what you see, but you don't know if it's real, and you don't know who's watching. You don't know if it was programmed. You don't know if it's like what.
No, I mean,
I'm just happy that Kevin's real. As I look over at him and like he looks like he can't tell if he wants to sleep or not. Like his eyes, I can't even say they're half open. It was
it's like when Portillo, Portillo needs to go to sleep, but he wants to stay up with you.
He knocks and comes back.
He has FOMO.
That again, going back to the prior topic, that was one of the cooler things that I thought was explored in Independence Day, was that there was a civilization that had gotten so advanced that they were just all machines, like all digital, like their consciousness had just been uploaded and they were one being, which I thought was really, really cool, and which a lot of people theorize is our eventual, that's the path that we'll eventually be on. Yeah,
like that Johnny Depp movie.
Transcendence.
Yeah.
I ever saw that.
Sucked too.
But yeah, the idea that we will, eventually converge with the machine, or that we are here just to make the next life form, which is the machine, is a very fascinating concept. and one that we are well on our way toward exploring.
Right, because that's why I think that why we are here is not the more, in my opinion, not the more important question, because we will realize that there is no reason why we're here if we find intelligent life. Then there's no reason. You know, and that's like why I think that question supersedes almost everything, and that's why I think that like knowledge can be gained, and the suggestion in a sci-fi way that intelligence is like hyper intelligence and all these breakthroughs are garnered from contact with these different species, which is what happens in Independence Day resurgence, but not in a very clever way. You know, that like you just need certain breakthroughs in physics and understanding and time travel or not time travel, but just traveling through space and wormholes and all that kind of stuff to get around, and then you have the answers. That's what happens to humanity in Mass Effect, and they find the mass relays, and that changes everything. They suddenly have access to incredible information they never had before because they can travel. So it's just an interesting question. I still really hope that we figure this out one day. I've said this before. What I think is going to happen is that we are going to find evidence, conclusive evidence of life on another planet or intelligent life somewhere, and we're not gonna be able to do a damn thing about it.
Yeah, we're gonna see a Dyson sphere and be like, well, one day,
like we know it's there.
If we can see them,
and then we have
a Dyson sphere. They can see us.
Yeah.
They know we're here. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and then like the idea that they're 600 light years away, so we send a message, they don't get it for 600 years.
I mean,
There's
they could
nothing
literally be like, oh, we've got such technology, we have this Dyson sphere. Let's just focus the energy from our sun toward them and fucking fry that planet for no reason. It'll be fun. Let's watch.
We'll make a moon base. It'll unify us. We already saw this in
we need a
Independence Day
unifying
Resurgence.
moon base. By the way, I was reading about that Dyson sphere star again yesterday.
Oh, what do we got?
What was the conclusion on that?
They still don't know. They don't know. They have all these
50 years before they're like it was just a thing on the fucking. It was a speck.
They have all these theories. They have all these theories that
figured it out, guys.
they think it might be a young star, and so it's still the planets are still coalescing around it, so it's causing like all of this.
But wasn't it really, really like
sexy?
No, not sexy. It was very hot. Just tie it like a nubile 16-year-old. You know what I mean, like. No, didn't they say it was like symmetrical though? Like it was really symmetrical.
It seems it.
Yeah.
So one of the I was reading about yesterday, and they have theories about comet dust and planet formation, all that kind of stuff. And one of the real theories is that it's a Dyson swarm or a Dyson sphere.
That's awesome.
Crazy.
And that topic's brought to you by Harry's. Stop compromising on your shave and get started with Harry's. For far too long, you've either paid too much for a comfortable shave or you've settled for a low-priced but low-quality razor. Harry's offers something you never had before, a great shave at a fair price. Harry's makes its own high-quality razors, cuts out the middleman, and ships them directly to you for half the price of the leading brand. Good shave, good price. It's simple. Get the best of both with Harry's. Harry's is the only shaving company that has both amazing quality and low prices. Harry's makes just one razor with all you need for a close, comfortable shave. 5 German-crafted blades, flex hinge, and a lubricating strip. Quality guaranteed. Full refund if you're not happy. Tim, have you gotten a refund? Because you're happy.
Tim, have you gotten a refund? His mic was off.
Okay, there we go. I'm back in this. Kevin had to fix my mic. I have not, Greg. I didn't need one.
Because you're happy.
I'm very happy. Very happy with it. And you know who else is happy?
Who?
My girlfriend, Gia.
Oh, she's been using the...
She's touched me on my neck.
Oh.
And other places that I've used the razor. But
Whoa!
you know what? Whatever. It worked. That's all. I felt very lubricated.
You're gross. Harry's starter set called the Truman is a great option for new customers and an amazing deal. For just $15, you get a razor handle, moisturizing shave cream, and 3 of Harry's 5-blade German engineered razors. Plus, there's a special offer for fans of the show. Harry's will give you $5 off your first purchase with the promo code KINDOFFUNNY. Go to harrys.com right now and look for the Truman set. That's HARRYS.com. Enter code KINDOFFUNNY at checkout to get $5 off and support the show. Stop compromising. Give Harry's a try today. The link is in the description below. Tim,
Yes.
what's your topic?
So Colin was talking about like the most important questions. And
Yeah.
Stuff like the philosophical.
Totally. Why
all
are we
those things.
here? Are we alone?
Yeah. The real question I want to know is if you guys could know who would bang you, would you take that power? For the rest of your life, everybody you meet, you know what sexual relationship you potentially could have.
So I have so many questions.
Go for it.
So
I have answers for you, Greg.
Thank you. Is it like a Terminator overlay where I look at Kevin and like a percentage comes off the side of him?
Yes.
So is it a number or is it a yes or no?
I think it goes beyond that. I think that it needs to give you more information because it's not just sex. Like it lets you know what you can get going on. It can let you know what type of relationship you could have with them. It can let you know, can you get a handy? Can you get a little?
See,
I want everything. I want to know what the limits are.
So my question is, so is it a yes, no, or is it numbers, percentage wise?
Percentage.
And so then these are in play. This isn't everything in your world, like it's
You know
not.
what? Fuck it. Yes or no? It's a yes or no. I don't want to play with the percentages because
So
then
I stand by my statement. Is it predestination here, where I walk up to?
Ooh, predestination. Well, Calvinism.
I walk up to Kevin and it's a hard no, and I can never change the no, or is it?
Yep. You can't change it.
So okay, so then
It is what it is.
So then my next question. So and this is then. So it's based. I mean, like, so stick with me. Mind out of the gutter, everybody.
Nope.
A couple will say, somebody who predestination are going to get married one day, meet as 9-year-olds, and they have a yes or a no on them, even though at that point there's no sexual intercourse. I'm saying, do I have a hand in changing this when I meet somebody?
No. So it will happen or it won't happen based on.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Sorry. Not it will. It won't. It could happen is the key thing.
Could
there.
or couldn't.
Could. Yeah. It's could or couldn't. Yeah. You still need to make it happen, and you don't know exactly how. It could not happen 9 times, and that 10th time it does. But you know that it could.
So this
It
person,
could.
this is a machine that allows.
No, it's not a machine. It's in your
a
head.
super-
It's a
Power.
mechanism in my head that allows for me to see Kevin, and there's a green light or a red light. I don't know
Right.
what they mean, but I know that the green light means we might be able to have sex at some point. He's into it. I'm into it. We're gonna take each other for a ride.
If that's how it,
Because
The
I
that's
hear
green
what
light would
understand,
signify that yes, eventually you can have sex with this person,
Right.
but it does not signify you're about to go for a ride. No.
See, I don't. Then I would say no, because that's every person. That is that mechanism that we have that ability right now. If I tried
point.
really hard enough, I can get Kevin drunk. And probably actually it wouldn't be that hard.
No.
Give him like 2 alcoholic
See, no,
beverages.
what gets interesting about
show him
it
a
is
couple
when
pictures of Captain
you
Zeta-Jones.
are married, you meet another married couple, and there's a green light on the whatever, either one of them. You and your wife are out to dinner, you double date, and you see another person's wife, and there's a green light on her. It's your first meeting.
Sure.
And so now it's in your head, and tell me right now it's in my head that at some point I'm gonna break up with my wife.
No.
It just means that-
so it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
It means
means
the
it could.
probability, but this is
Eventually.
But it is a binary yes or no.
Yeah, let's go with the yes or no because I think that clears it
Yeah,
up.
no,
Because here's my
no.
thing. The reason I bring this question up is because I think it would fundamentally change your relationships with people and how you act with them on just a fundamental basis with everybody. Because
agree.
knowing that, you would just act differently.
I would not interact with anyone that didn't want to have sex with me. I'd be like, nope. Hi, I'm Nick. And that would be it. That would be. And that's what I was saying. That's what I was alluding to earlier. Is like, I would not want to know this because I don't like the idea that I can't change someone's opinion of me from either a likability or a sexual attraction standpoint. If going off of his earlier question, if it was just a green light until whatever I did made them go, oh, this guy's sexy, and then I saw like, oh, they're into it. Yes, fuck yeah, I would totally take that power because I would want to know
percentages
like
going
I'm
up.
attracted to this person. Hi, I'm Nick. Nope. Hang out, meet him again. A month
she
later,
likes this Die
a
Hard
month later,
impression I'm
Oh, you
doing.
know what I do now? Oh, you think that 5'8's awesome instead of 6'4 because you've just realized that it fits better on planes. Great. Green light, cool. And then a list unfolds of like what she's going to do to me. That's fucking awesome, right? Because that's what
That is fascinating, actually.
because that's
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
do every day. When when you're single, that's basically what you're doing without the mechanism. You're just trying to see who wants to have sex with you, and then once you do, you have to somehow figure out what they want to do without them telling you what they want to do for fear of either being too freakish or too prudish or too inexperienced, right? So like if we can alleviate all that stress and I'm like, oh, Kevin wants me and he wants the 69, I can see it right here on my cool Terminator display. Fuck yeah, turn that mechanism on. Put that chip in my head right now so I can have that.
Yeah.
Because that'd be awesome. It would also help very much with marriage. It would help me out so I don't have to keep
Constant red light.
prodding
Constant
my
red light.
wife and having her slap my hand away.
Yeah, no. See, I don't think I would do it because I just can't handle it. I think the fun there is not knowing. Because then once it happens, it's great and it's cool and whatever. Sex is great, period.
And it's cool.
It's very cool. It's one of the cool kids' things. But I think it's the not knowing that you got it, then it makes it feel worth it. If you know you can get it.
But you still wouldn't know. In
That's
my
the thing. If it's a
mechanism,
red light and you can change it,
You
I don't
know
like
how
the
much you'd
changing
be
it.
like,
The
all right,
changing it.
you're a gamer, right? You're like, I'm gonna game the system, right? So if you had
You're a
this thing
schemer.
where you were like, I know at some point it's possible to change her mind, and based on prior experience and me Googling it, I figured out how to do it with other people. So now here's the game. I'm gonna try to scheme my way around getting this person to be attracted to me in the second that happens. Like how fucking incredibly like ego boosting would that be if you met a great looking girl? And I'm not saying you have to have sex with her, but if you met a great looking girl and she was a red light at first, and then after that night of conversations with you, she's a green light now. And you
the
knew it.
weirder thing would be when you meet
That'd be
people
awesome.
and they're a green light, and then you get to that point where you're like, do you want to come back to my place? And they're like, no. You're like, fuck, this is gonna
Starts
be one of
flickering yellow.
this is one of these green lights I'm gonna have to try on or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
I also like how you would Google it. You go to Yahoo Answers. Has anybody ever
honestly.
has anyone ever successfully changed a red light to a green light?
There would be forum posts about
Oh my
it.
god,
Shout
there'd be
out
a
to
total right. There'd be
Forums are great.
There'd be conspiracy theories about it. If it was really a binary thing that never changed, then there would be conspiracy theories about how I did it once, how I changed.
well,
a
here's
red
the
light.
thing,
My
only you
brother
have
said
this.
his college roommate had an uncle who.
Only you have this. It's not like everyone has this and people are fucking writing forum posts about it.
No, but what would be amazing would be to alleviate, like to actually see into someone's like sexual desires and their fetishes or whatever they were into.
That's just
Like-
again. There's this great show on kindoffunny.com called Love and Sex Stuff where it's just communication.
No,
you can
it
find
is,
all that
but
stuff just by asking.
It takes so long, and people, even people who, you know, just start dating or having sex or have a relationship for a long time. I'm sure there's still stuff that they're like afraid to broach topic wise with their partner. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure
Like
there's
what,
things
Nick?
like anything for any fetish, right? Like especially guys have weird fetishes. Like I mean, I tell my wife all my fetishes, she just says no. So I'm like, all right, cool, no problem.
Communication.
Put it all on the
but,
table.
you know, I put it out there. But like, it would be awesome if, and I know, like, my wife's a pretty open person. I don't want to go too deep into our sex life, but we talk a lot, we communicate a lot, as one should. But maybe even she doesn't know what these things are until she tries them, right? And so it would be awesome to know, just to see a girl and be like, that girl's into being tied up, or that girl's into like a foot fetish, or just wants me to dress like a fireman. Like she really likes firemen, so she wants me to come out in my beautiful bodice.
Spray me with your
And
hose.
just spray her with my giant, medium-sized, girthy hose. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That
Nick.
good, that decent 5.5, sometimes 6 inches on a real warm day.
Yeah.
Like when I'm in, that's why I like Texas. The plane flight, like, you know, it's bloating,
Prepares you.
and then when you hit the ground, it's really hot, so everything's just long and loose.
Long and loose.
It's like I gotta go up a size in shoes. If you know what I mean, Greg.
Would you do it, Colin?
No. I think that there are certain things that you don't want to know, and I think that could be ego killing too. And I just don't think you want to walk around with that in mind with all of your communique with people. I think
That's a good point.
I think you're gonna find A, that the results are fucking disturbing. B, that's all you're gonna like see and know about and care about, and you don't want to. You know, I'm in a relationship. I hope this is my last stop, right? But I remember what it was like when you were single, and sometimes you just wanted to remain single. There are things you didn't want to know, or there are people you just want to communicate with. Sometimes you just want to have girls that are friends. Like, what if even I've had close girls that are friends of mine, and it's like you know, what do you want to know? Like sometimes you just want boundaries. Sometimes you don't. I just feel, and on the other side, it's like sometimes people like the thrill of the chase too. So like,
Yeah.
So I just feel like,
But even I think both those kind of stand.
want it,
I think
no.
you can. I'd want it just for conversational purposes and just for education. But it would be the fact that, like, again, you don't need to engage. Even if I have a friend who is a girl and she's green, it just means I could, if I did X, Y, and Z right. You know what I mean? It doesn't necessarily need to be that it's going to happen, that's going to happen. And I would think.
it would cloud your judgment. Your whole
But, like,
thing would be fucked
but
up.
that would be my whole thing, is I don't think it would, because I don't think that's not my end goal with every person I meet or my friends that I have.
Exactly. So then why would you ever have
Because
that
it's fun to
begin
know.
with?
That's cool.
No, I don't think. I think there are certain
in a
things you don't wanna
parallel
know.
universe, I could have sex with that person.
I do think I think this goes back to what I've said before, and
list.
not to be a party pooper, but it's just like sex is great, you know,
Sex is natural.
and it's natural. It's important to the physical relationship. It's natural to bonding. It's natural to love, and procreation, of course. But I also feel like there's an overemphasis of it in society. I think we emphasize it way too much. And I think it's way too many in people's faces. I think the 21st century is run amok with this shit. And so like if you have this light, then it's the personification of what's wrong, you know, at the same time.
I don't think it's wrong. I mean, I agree with you that it's, you know, not the most important thing. I do think it's important.
Yeah, this
It's
is not the
very
first
important.
augmentation I'm getting. But when I have all this XP floating around, skill points, so sure, tack that on. I don't care. I can run real fast. Great. That was
I
the
would
first
rather-
one.
Get the one for
I would
stamina,
rather
so
have
I
a-
could just drill Kevin all night.
Jesus. Kevin, you can't see it off screen. Kevin picked up his phone and put up just the screen's all green, and he keeps looking at Nick and pointing at it.
I would, but the augmentation I would like, the green red augmentation I would like is this person a good person or not? Should you even
but how do you
bother
know
with this
that?
person at all?
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
but
most
how do
people
you
are
know that? That's really
I
subjective.
really do think that most people are inherently good, but I think there are fucking shitty people, like scumbags
No, there
out
are.
there. And I think it would be nice. And I've not realized that until you're kind of in deep with some people. I don't mean relationships even. I mean just like friends and stuff like that. And you're like, wow, you're a piece of fucking trash.
Yeah.
You are just
I feel
at your
like-
genetic level. You fucking suck.
In my
You know,
experience,
and I'd like a
it's a
little
lot
like
easier
that.
to know someone sucks than that someone would suck, you know? So that's why I'm gonna go with the
It's
second.
true.
So
I wouldn't do it though. I
So
wouldn't do it.
you would not do
I wouldn't do it because
I wouldn't wanna do
it's
it.
some weird mix of what these two are saying. Where one, I would love to know just because it's like that's
That's cool
super
to know.
cool and whatever, and like I do think I could handle it, but I wouldn't want to know because it would change the dynamics of how I deal with people. And my favorite thing is the dealing with people part. I like talking to people and like kind of figuring all that shit out, even if it's entirely not sexual at all.
That's the thing is that it would inexorably change the way you did it. Like no matter what Greg would resist, like it would inexorably change your entire outlook and the entire way you dealt with people. I don't know. I think that it would change you in ways that you wouldn't want to be changed. You know, I really do. I think it would make
I would have a lot more sex.
Yeah, you would, but
You
what-
wouldn't.
But
I mean, I'm talking if I was single. You're
Okay.
single, you would. No, I mean,
But
that's
even
the-
then, I just
even as
don't
a married
think-
guy, though.
you just said you were going to drill Kevin all night, though.
Well, that doesn't count, though. Kevin's not a real person. No, even as a married person, I just think it would be. It's nice to know that people are attracted to you. It's an ego boost, right? And I think most people walk around not knowing, and that's the same as
Nick,
not-
most people are attracted to you.
Eh.
Yeah. You got these shoulders, you got
I
the
don't
ice
know.
cream scoops, you got a great personality, good
Um,
beard, good hairline.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate that.
I'd fuck you right now.
Get in line.
Green.
Kevin's first.
Green.
Kevin's first. Kevin and I have to deep 69 each other before we can get to you.
Deep 69.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It's like you know how that you have
Oh,
a
God. Tell
freezer in your house.
Yeah.
And then, but then you go to a 31 flavors and they got the deep freezer. Like it's bigger. There's a lot more space. You can store more shit in there.
Right.
That's what we're gonna do to each other.
Are you on top or are you on the bottom?
We're gonna try to cram more gold medal ribbon into each other's deep freezer. Kevin's got a little
Who's
rock
doing the
side.
handstand?
I think Kevin has to be on bottom just because of the sheer sweat factor. I can't. The gravity of it would probably I would drown.
It would drip on you.
Oh, it would be disgusting. It would be like swimming upward
That's
through
the
a pond.
disgusting part.
No, there would
Not
be
that you're 69
there would
Kevin
for
with the
sure
sweat,
be
Not
there-
his
there-
balls
there would be a
cradling your
smell
nose,
factor
slowly
also.
suffocating you.
There would be a smell factor for sure. Because I have to imagine that Kevin's choach smells a lot like Indian food. You know what I mean? Or like Marnie Thai. Like it just smells.
Is there
like a weird mixture of of spices that I've never like from different.
This topic was brought to you by Squarespace. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use the offer code KINDAFUNNY to get 10% off your first purchase. Building a website can be tough, and even if you do know your way around coding, creating something that looks good and works well is a time-consuming affair. Whether it's for a business site, a portfolio, a restaurant, or whatever else, in this day and age, you probably need a website anyway. Well, lucky for us, Squarespace makes it easy to build beautiful websites without breaking a sweat. Squarespace provides simple, powerful, and beautiful website tools that look professionally designed, regardless of skill level. No coding required. What's up?
Look, when I do this, it looks like the microphone is drinking out of my coffee cup.
Not only does Squarespace provide you with an intuitive and easy-to-use tools to create your website with, Squarespace also has state-of-the-art technology powering your site to ensure security and stability. And you know you can trust Squarespace when all these great brands and other people do too. I cut out some stuff there in the middle. We trusted it with our first one, right, Nick?
I like Squarespace a lot. A
Yeah.
lot.
First
Trust it with
kindoffunny.com.
firstkindoffunny.com. I would trust it again if we needed to build a website.
When
fast.
we have to dump James Schuler like a hot potato.
When we clean house and it's just you and me left running this show.
Fucking damn.
I will.
You can't beat the ease and simplicity of Squarespace. Squarespace gives you 24/7 online support and a beautiful website. So what are you waiting for? Start a new trial with no credit card required and start building your website today. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use the offer code KINDAFUNNY to get 10% off your first purchase and show your support for Kinda Funny. No tagline.
No tagline. Beautiful. Greg,
Build it, Jackie.
what's
T.
your topic?
Thank you, Tim. My topic is it's about movies. I want to talk about movie ratings.
Okay.
And namely, I want to know why America is a bunch of prudes. What's wrong, Kevin? Get on your microphone. Use your big boy thing.
Your topic was supposed to be broccoli, and you know that.
Yeah, but we talked about this beforehand. Broccoli will be a topic for next week, Kevin. If
You ruined it.
If I'm lying, I'm dying. I'll do broccoli next week for you, Kevin. All right? Kevin,
Our
give
ice
me
topic was such a hit.
Kevin, give me a big smile. Was
How
it
that
not?
ice
It
topic,
legitimately was.
Yeah.
People really liked it.
Broccoli next week, everybody. Hold on to your horses. I went and saw a cinema last night called Batman v Superman.
Again?
Dawn of Justice.
So bad.
Ultimate Edition. Now this is the
have deleted
3-hour
scenes.
rated R cut.
Where is this?
It was at Kabuki. There was I snuck into a showing of it. It's out now on digital.
I'm
on demand.
so exhausted from hearing you say that you went to see this movie again that I feel like I just saw it again. That's how fucking tired I am about it.
Colin.
So as I was saying, on my way there, 3 hours of Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Rated R. How can you improve on a masterpiece? I don't know, but the movie wonderkind Zack Snyder did it. No. So what
Was it actually a better movie?
I don't know. Sure.
Can you please reach over and plug Colin's
Sure,
mic back in?
I'll
Because
plug
you know
it
he's
back
not going to do it. You know he's just going to, despite you, talk into a dead mic. Thank you.
He's back. He's back.
More to
He's
spite
up.
Kevin.
But no, what I want to
Kevin.
talk about the fact is this is rated R.
Right.
And how stupid movies are. And you're a movie guy.
Yeah.
You know America. We all know that when you want to compare us to like the European countries, right? They're totally cool with the sex, hate the violence. America, totally cool with the violence, hate the sex. And then we get into this weird thing of language. Batman v Superman, Ultimate Cut, R-rated edition. The additions that would make this get an R rating in Greg Miller's mind are very simple and very small. There's a fuck. Remember the guy who lost his legs? I can't feel my legs, Wally. Remember Batman v Superman? The guy who couldn't feel, lost his legs.
Yes.
Can't say I remember
Blows
that
up
scene.
the Capitol.
Right.
Crucial character to the plot.
Right.
He says fuck at
Oh,
one
the guy in the
point.
wheelchair.
Yeah, wheelchair guy. Says fuck at one point. When Lois is in the bathtub and Clark gets in the bathtub, we all remember the glasses hit, the water splashes, we cut away. Here, we cut back. Superman sits up, takes off his shirt, fucking yoked out, then comes in for the makeout, and we get a scene from behind of Lois clutching his back.
Hot.
You're like, all right, that doesn't seem too far gone. Then, and not awkward, I guess, but a weird insert, getting ready for the party at Lex's house. You know how like Bruce Wayne, he throws the cover off the car. Right before that is him in the shower, naked, his ass to the camera. And we can see Ben Affleck's ass. And
You
like,
said there were very small differences. I've seen Gone Girl. There's nothing small
thing
about
is
Ben
huge.
Affleck's hog.
just the ass. We did not get the full frontal Gone Girl.
basset hound
How
hanging
you
off his
doing?
fucking
We did
torso.
not get that. Instead, we got his buns, hun.
Okay.
There's those, the fuck. Then they went in and like when people are getting, more people die in bloody fashion. When we're in the beginning of the movie, when all the people are getting shot, you know, when Lois gets grabbed by the guy, people, when they start getting shot, blood splatters on the wall. There's a little bit of blood. Doomsday jumps through a helicopter and kills some folks. He kills somebody else. I think he throws something. Or, the fighter planes get blown up or whatever too. But it's just a few more deaths.
Right.
Not that grotesque. A little bit of sex appeal here for the ladies or the gay men if they swing that way. Whatever.
Sure, why not?
I mean, don't get me wrong. I like looking at Henry Cavill. But I mean, whatever. And then what? A fuck? And this is the thing that made this an R-rated cut.
Yeah.
That's weird.
That's
Why
absurd.
is it like that?
I don't know. The MPAA is weird too because there's a lot of stories of movies that should be. There's a lot of stories of movies that were like almost getting a rated X rating, where I think God, I'm trying to think. Oh, it was South Park, not South Park. Team America World Police, right?
Oh, NC-17.
Where they wanted to get the R rating, so they threw a bunch of shit into the sex scenes and the rest of the movie that they knew were the MPAA was gonna have a problem with, so they trimmed it back to the R. Even though if you watch that, there is some shit in that, even though it's puppets, that is clearly like pornographic and should be an NC-17 or X rating. So I don't know. I mean, and there's no real set standards for it too. I mean, there is in that you can't say more than one fuck. You can't say fuck in a sexual term. So you have to use it as an exclamation. You can't say I'm gonna fuck you. You have to say fuck, that sucked or whatever. If you say I'm gonna fuck you, you're gonna get it right.
I'm gonna run through
I
the
looked at
MP.
Tim when he said it.
I'm gonna
Well,
throw
I've already 69 Kevin so deep that he's now a part
That was
of me.
last topic. If you didn't catch that, that was out of context. MPAA guidelines,
High
right?
spice balls.
G, all ages admitted, a G motion picture contains nothing in theme, language, nudity, sex, violence, or other matters that, in the view of the rating board, would offend parents whose younger children view the motion picture. They go on, no stronger words than are present, depictions of violence are minimal, no nudity, sex scenes, or drug. PG, parental guidance suggested, some material may not be suitable for children. The more mature themes in some PG-rated motion pictures may call for parental guidance. There may be some profanity in some depictions of violence or brief nudity. There is no drug use or content. PG-13, parents strongly cautioned some material may be inappropriate for children under 13, may go beyond the PG rating in theme, violence, nudity, sensuality, language, adult activities, or other elements. Any drug use will initially require to be blah, 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 blah. There may be depictions of violence, but generally not realistic or extreme persistence violence. Single use of one of the harsher sexually derived words, authors note the F word, though only as an expletive, initially requires at least a PG-13 rating. That's always the big thing in the PG-13 movies when you're waiting for the one curse word.
Oh, right. That's what it was, right.
And that's the thing with Batman v Superman, where they spend it, instead of the fuck from him, it was the shit from Batman.
Right.
Remember when Doomsday's about to blast him, and then Tim's favorite song of all time kicks on. I'll tell you what, 5th time seeing this motion picture, still the place where everybody claps for the first time. Everybody goes crazy.
I had to give it to something. That was their one clap of the
More
movie.
than one such expletive requires an R rating. So I mean, really, that's probably where Batman v Superman's R really is driven home, right? The fact that there's a shit and a fuck.
And the nudity. I mean, the ass
But
nudity.
yeah, sure.
You're getting
No, ass doesn't necessarily get you that though.
R, children under 17 required to accompany a parent or adult, may include adult themes, adult activity, author's note, stuff it's not legal for kids to do, hard language, intense or persistent violence, sexually oriented nudity, probably again with the, like, it's pretty clear now Clark and Lois are going to fuck in that bathtub, drug abuse or other elements. Generally, it is not appropriate for parents to bring their young children with them to R-rated motion. NC-17, formerly X, no one under 17 admitted a movie that, in the view of the ratings board, most parents would consider patently too adult for children under 17 and under. So and that goes on. But NC-17 does not mean obscene or pornographic in the common legal meaning of those words and should not be construed as a negative judgment in any sense.
Is it possible that they, and I don't want to say, because I know the MPAA or whatever is not on the take or whatever, but like they wanted the R rating, didn't they? They released the movie at PG-13. They did their damage, and now they want the R rating. They want it.
Yeah.
So like it's possible that they're stuffing as much shit in there as possible to get it.
Oh, that's exactly why they're doing it.
So I don't understand. Like, so
No, they
It's
did it as
not,
a-
this isn't, I'm not talking about like Batman v Superman's been robbed. I'm just saying as somebody who now, usually you sit there and we'll compare two different films, a PG-13 and an R, and you're like, I guess there was more of this. And this is like literally you can see that this 30 minutes, this use of fuck, this is what pushed over the edge. And it's like, really? Why are we so hung up on that? Why are we hung up on them in a bathtub? Why are we hung up on a little bit of blood? Because it wasn't like brain splatter. It's just like blood on the wall, digitally added.
let me ask you this too.
Lay it on me.
Was the theater full? for this
Yes.
movie?
Yeah.
What's wrong with everybody?
But
Really
the thing
makes you
is,
wonder, doesn't it?
It only really
certainly
matters
does.
when it comes to the R because
Don't
that
play like you didn't
limits
like the movie.
the people that can go in. You know,
Yeah.
So people try to stay under that R because then, like PG-13, it doesn't matter. You're going to make as much money as PG or G or whatever
Sure.
the hell it is, right?
Which is historically why people try to get that PG.
Because even
And that's why
in
people
that
have
whole,
pulled
that
off the
whole thing,
R.
I remember specifically with cartoons, like back in the 80s when Transformers the movie came out, it was the first cartoon that had a swear word in it. Like when one of the moon bases blows up, Spike's like, oh shit. And that was a big deal. That's when I think, I could be wrong about this, but that's when the PG from G to PG kind of like, it was during that era that it kind of became a thing because they were like, oh, there's nothing technically wrong with what they're doing. We're not going to give it the PG-13 there, but there
Right.
needs to be something in between.
Well, I think the PG-13 rating came about in the 80s.
Red Dawn.
Was it Red Dawn?
I think Red Dawn is the first one.
Yeah, because I think people like if I could be remembering this completely incorrectly, but I think Spielberg was pretty influential in having that happen because there was no, I guess they needed something in between PG and R. Look, can you look this up?
I'm on it.
well,
yeah.
between G.
Was it G and PG? Is that what it was?
Well, yeah, because originally it was
PG-13
just G.
Well, I think
Well, G, PG, and R were the original ratings.
Yeah.
And X, which is now NC-17.
Yeah, which is NC-17. I think PG-13 was the newer one that came about because they were like, we need to have
Some in
there
between.
needs to be action and violence, but there needs to be something in between PG and R.
Gotcha,
'cause
maybe
it's
that
too,
was
it's too
it
much
then.
of a void. I could be wrong about that though.
It's Indiana Jones.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
Was that
The
Indiana
Temple
Jones?
of Doom. This is from, I'm reading Business Insider. However, a more important
Where did I get
anniversary
Red
is
Dawn
what Temple of Doom, it was mentioned in
It's all
here
off
too.
and on the
We'll see
mic,
where it is.
Colin.
No, it is.
Helped usher
one
in
of the first ones.
the creation of the PG-13 box office sweet spot that would shape. Here's how it came to be. It goes on. Of all the films in the series, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom is the darkest,
The best one.
Part of it was going through. This is explaining like this. Until 1984, there had only been 4 ratings a film could receive: G, PG, R, and X. Films like Temple of Doom, which were too mature for PG audiences but not mature enough for the R rating, would find themselves in limbo. Spielberg found this netherworld rating unfair to both filmmakers and audience. So, according to a 2008 interview with Vanity Fair, Spielberg says he came up with a new rating that would bridge the gap. Quote, I remember calling Jack Valenti, the president of the Motion Picture Association, and suggesting him that we need a rating between R and PG because so many films were falling into a netherworld. Of unfairness. Unfair that certain kids were exposed to Jaws, which was a PG movie or whatever, but also unfair that certain films were restricted to kids that were 13, 14, 15 who now seen. I suggested let's call it PG-13 or PG-14, depending on how you would design it. And Jack came back to me and said, we've determined that PG-13 would be the right age for that temperature of a movie. So I've always been very proud that I had something to do with the rating.
What's crazy too is that there's so many different rating systems, whether it's TV or video games or movie, and they're all similar but different. Like on TV, they have all those different
yeah.
letters and shit. It's like
TVG.
TV MA with the L because of language or whatever.
Right.
TV 14.
I mean, that kind of makes a little bit more sense. I mean, my thing is, these are all vanity ratings, right? Like, how many of us shocker, saw a rated R movie before we
All
were
the time.
18 years
Yeah,
old.
but I mean,
All the
but
time.
how many aren't though? And I think
Maybe,
that's the key thing.
maybe.
It's vanity up until R, because R, we've seen it with movies do not make as much money if they're rated R.
Sure, up until Deadpool.
Well, Deadpool was a successful R-rated movie.
But it's also because people aren't treating rated R movies. They're not making the kind of rated R movie that can make money, because traditionally they haven't been able to market them.
To be clear, it appears that it was the release of Temple of Doom and Gremlins that did not have the PG-13 rating that started all this shit. That's why Spielberg did it, and that's why Red Dawn was the first movie to be released as PG-13.
Told you, motherfuckers. But to be fair,
Colin.
I am also obsessed with Red Dawn.
Was right.
Here's the thing about it, though, to Tim's point.
Porty, come back here.
I saw dozens of movies when I was a kid, R-rated movies with my friends or by myself, even. Like, I remember going to see Something About Mary by myself when my dad saw some other movie when I was in 8th grade. And I would just buy the ticket for, I'd be like, I want to see whatever fucking movie I
you
should
walk
see.
into the other one.
But to be fair, the R-rated movies inherently will never make as much money because they didn't get my money for that movie anyway. I gave it to fucking whatever PG movie was in there. I'd be like, oh yeah, it's 10 minutes apart. Give me the blah, blah, blah. And then I just never once, by the way, ever got in trouble for that. No one ever came and fucking bothered me. I remember sitting in Something About Mary by myself in 8th grade when my dad was seeing something else. In like the cum shot scene and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy God. Like I was like almost looking around. I'm like,
yeah, Scary Movie was that for us. That was awkward as all shit being with your parents.
Yeah, but
you took him to see scary movies.
Yeah.
my mom, and I'm sure I'm not alone, used to buy me the tickets and just send me to go do it with my friends. Like that's or their friends' parents would buy the tickets because they just didn't give a shit.
In high school, we
When
did
you're 14
have
and
it.
15, it doesn't matter.
Our AMC in the burbs of Chicago did check IDs for rated R flicks or whatever, but you could sneak around it.
I mean, modern day shit, good fucking luck. I mean, of course you can sneak in and like, congrats, good for you. But they do so much. They come, they check, they do things where they there's like lights and shit in the theaters, and it's like,
Really?
can you not? Yeah, dude.
I've never seen this. My assumption today would have been that it's easier than ever for someone who's underage to sneak into one of these shows. You can walk up to a machine and buy the tickets. So no one's
Right,
carding you
exactly.
as you're buying it. And then when you walk in, do you really does the 15-year-old really
I mean, it
give a shit
depends
that
on if the
16-year-old?
movie just came out. Like if it's the day of release, like they do check the ticket stubs. They do give you a lot of shit. We also don't look like 15-year-olds.
Well,
so
I mean,
think
I'm
it's-
clearly a 36-year-old man, as I have looked for the last 20 some odd years of my life. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, TV is also the big joke, right? Because the only people that are actually able to police that
Portillo.
are your parents. But if you have HBO growing up, you can
Go
see.
put him in a room.
I mean, you see all these movies anyway. It doesn't matter. They're all on TV anyway. So it's. I get why it has to happen. I get why it's there. I think I'd rather there be some system in place than no system, no matter how faulty that might be. I just think the way I grew up was, seeing movies like Predator, RoboCop, Aliens, Terminator, all those in the theaters. And they scared the shit out of me, and it's probably why I'm a sexual deviant.
Yes, Kevin.
Do you think that it's better that there is a system than no system? Because
It
I've
scares away the pussy kids who
I
are
would say-
they don't want to be men and go in there. And,
No, I think it's an important distinction to make for specifically children's movies, right? G versus PG versus PG-13, because I do think that I wouldn't want, if there were none, is by some mistake, some parents walking into fucking I don't know, Alien Insurrection or what was it called?
Independence Day
Resurgence. And thinking that was going to be just like a fun, spirited movie. So it's good to know that is going to have more violence than a movie like The Incredibles, right?
Yeah.
the violence in
There-
Independence Day Resurgence was what they did to the fucking script. Kevin?
there's a documentary called "This Movie Is Not Yet Rated,"
Mhm.
and it's just about how sometimes it really screws over movies.
Oh, it does,
Oh, yeah.
and it's hard, and you have to, and it's costly too, because you have to
Re-edit
continually re-edit your film until you can get the rating you want. And there's no, it's all subjective, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, there's really, with the exception of the what Greg just read, you can make Dread, and that could come out. I mean, I think Dread was, maybe that was R, but you could maybe cut a scene in that, and it might be PG-13. You never know. It just depends on who you
who
are,
watches it,
and
when,
who's watching it,
how,
when.
and whatever.
My thing, my instincts
was
as a
our-
libertarian,
our-
the person is that rating shouldn't exist at all. But the reason I have no problem with the rating, the SRB or the MPAA, is that because they are bodies, their organized bodies have nothing to do with the government. The thing is that the ESRB actually was created in the mid-90s because the government was like, you
Getting
do it
ready
or
to do
we'll
something.
fucking do it.
The government was getting ready to fuck shit
and
up.
that would have been like, I would have been like, that's a bridge way too fucking far. Why is the video game even involved? Why is the government rather even involved in this at all? But I have no problem with it per se. It just never affected anything about the way I saw movies. It really, honest to God, didn't. In fact, it made me want to see movies even worse when I knew that they were rated R. Because when I was young, I don't see movies anymore, but I literally probably saw 5 movies a month in the theater when I was a kid.
I saw one every weekend.
That's all you could do.
Every weekend.
Years. And I would see anything. And so it was
that's
like
when you'd see movies 2-3 times.
Yeah, I would see movies.
Batman again. Why not?
When I see some of these movies that I like that pop up, and I'm like, I can't believe I saw this movie in the movie theater. You know, like it happens to me all the time. I'm like, I saw this fucking movie in the theater. You know,
like nothing better, dude. I remember those days. You and your friends going down to we go to the Glen, and it's just like terrible movies.
I also remember matinee movies costing at the
$5
Brookhaven Multiplex like $5-6.
I remember me and my friends sneaking into Wolf. Well, Jack Nicholson.
Oh, I love that.
Because there was nothing. It's not a movie for kids. Not because it's bad, but because it's boring as fuck if you're a kid. We're gonna go see a Wolfman movie. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's like seeing like Gettysburg or something. When I loved it. But
Gettysburg was awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. But or what was Gods and Generals? Where even I was like, oh my god,
that was a hard one.
Like it was so long. I had an intermission. I'll never forget. That was the first movie I ever saw that with that. Where I was like, oh my god, even I want to fucking kill myself. And I love the Civil War. Now, to wit. Though about the movie tickets, what I thought was interesting at the Alamo Draft House in the Mission, I could have just straight up walked into that place, sat in that theater, no one would have said a fucking thing to me.
Probably not.
Yeah, they would have.
No, they wouldn't have because Jared got the tickets for me and he gave them to me, came out and gave them to me or whatever. We walked into the bar and then I just fucking walked in there and sat in the seat that I was supposed to be sat in, but no one asked for me for my ticket.
Your waiter didn't look at your ticket when you come on? Oh, every time I've ever been there, like, all right, cool, you've been here before? I'm like, yep, and I show them the ticket and they're like, great.
They asked me if I was there before, but they didn't look at my tickets. They were in my fucking pocket the entire time. So I thought that was interesting.
Did they check Jared or anybody with you, like at the party?
Jared was sitting across the aisle from us.
Huh, that's really weird.
That's fascinating.
Maybe he said something, but I've never heard of that.
It could have been, but I just thought that was weird. I didn't think about it the entire time. I mean, I also spent over $100 there on food. But, so I mean, it's like, you know.
It's a genius concept, by the way.
It is a genius concept because I was like, the movies are so cheap, they're $9. But then I'm like, oh, like I would charge even less.
Oh yeah.
To get people into the fucking that way, so get you fucking drunk watching Independence for the Resurgence. It's the only thing that gets you through.
It was so fun watching Ghostbusters that I do want to go back. I mean, you're just literally
going back next week to see Ghostbusters.
Like hanging out with your friends, watching a movie and having dinner. It was cool.
Let me say this real quick about Ghostbusters, the new one.
Which one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we finish, because I'm sure we're almost there. There was 2 or 3 trailers before the Abomination I saw this weekend. And one was for Suicide Squad, which I think looks fun. I want to see it.
Sure.
I'm not convinced it's going to be good.
I think it's.
Did you guys see the trailer for Suicide Squad that uses Pony? Because it's fucking. We need to watch that.
Pony's
it's
having a
remix
great
and it's
resurgence,
awesome.
and I blame us.
But the other trailer I saw was for
blame us.
Ghostbusters, which I think is a trailer I've seen before. And people, I want to just give a little perspective because I'm of two minds with this movie. I'm of 2 minds with this movie where I feel like it's going to bomb, and I also feel like it's going to be fine. Where there was a lot of laughter and chuckles during it from the people in the audience.
Is this the one where
and I was laughing.
Patty has the ghost on her shoulder and starts leaving? They take a selfie, and she's like, "Really?"
Yeah.
That's the best trailer they put out for it.
I'm like, you know what? Like, doesn't look that bad. I'm still not going to see it as on principle
because you hate women.
No. I do, but it has nothing to do with this. Okay. I don't want to see it because I just don't know how it's Ghostbusters. But I do. But it gave me pause where I'm like, I was positive that movie's gonna fucking tank.
My hope
and now
is,
I'm like, oh well, seems like
my continued hope with Ghostbusters is just that the trailers have been bad. I still like that cast. I still like that director. I'm like,
they're funny.
I think it's going to be a very funny movie that's called Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a Ghostbusters movie the way we all think of it because that movie is 30 years old.
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
I also think it's clearly
Please refer
not
to topic 1
Ghostbusters.
for my thoughts on what Ghostbusters will be.
To my final thought on the topic of ratings is again, I'm glad they're there. I think they're dying, obviously, and I think it's because of things like the internet, right? Where eventually we'll look back and be like, it's interesting that we chose to rate all that content because we couldn't possibly control it now. There's no fucking way, right?
Gotcha.
You can go on YouTube right now and see, or anywhere on the internet, Google video and see anything you want to see, from real life deaths, from terrorists to crazy pornographic material, right?
Well, I hear
there's
you,
zero barrier to that.
It was one like I was watching Day 5, and it's a Rooster Teeth thing, and Day 5's awesome. I haven't watched episode 2 yet, but episode 1 was awesome. Totally dug it. And at one point, those girls stand up stark naked and walk in the house, and I was like, huh. Didn't expect that in this Rooster Teeth video I'm watching on the internet.
Yeah,
Right.
crazy.
So it's
I
going to
think
be
it's going to be
interesting.
the other way, though. I think that the internet's just going to get more and more like when it comes to things like Rooster Teeth or YouTube or things where it is you're putting content out there, and there's just going to be some rules where it's like you have to say what the level is, and I think it'll be a lot of self-policing more than anything. But
Maybe.
I think that they'll do that. Yeah, Google image search, you're going to be able to find horrible shit anywhere, but that's more.
Well, I mean, there sort of already is, right? But it's more just binary, right? Where this is for mature audiences or not, right? So even doesn't most sites will have age gate or something, or people will say that there's mature content in YouTube videos, right? And aren't you supposed to flag that?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's a good point. I mean, like sites like IGN already do the age gating thing. Rooster Teeth does it sometimes.
Doesn't YouTube to a certain extent?
So YouTube, it's
have to be signed in.
It's not so much self-policing as much as it is community.
Right. Someone will say
Where the
this is
community
mature.
will flag it,
whatever.
and then you have to sign in to be able to see it.
Right. Okay. So I mean, I think that I guess that is a start, and that's a good point. But it's scary to me that there's gonna have to be another governing body on the internet, policing the internet. I don't know how that's gonna look, but it's sad because right now we really are in the Wild West of the internet, and it's fucking awesome because you can get away with anything, and it's awesome. And
You
you
sure
probably
can.
could have,
Kevin, come out here naked.
Kevin, let me see your belly button.
But let that camera
See
see.
if
It.
your
Don't,
pee-
it doesn't show us.
See if your
That's-
PB can make it into your belly button this time.
If you didn't know, this has been the Game Over Greggy Show. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic of discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can toss us a few bucks to get every episode early, along with a bunch of exclusives and goodies. If you have no bucks to toss, head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we post the entire show topic by topic, day by day, until one big thing goes up on Friday as a video.
I got one big thing for you.
MP3s on podcast services
Big
around
arms.
the globe. Thank you very much.
You been doing some push-ups?
No,
One or
just
two?
lifting a lot of donuts.
There you go.
Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.